Hello everyone, I'm RxOliver, these are my friends, and we are playing Coriolis, the Great Dark. This is the Flowers of Algorab, Session 16. It's Chapter 2, The Search for Nadir, Session 3. I'm here with Max, David, Dave, and the Games Master, Brian. Take it away, Brian. All yours.
I shall do so. Oh, maybe.
False
Why can't
start.
I see that? No, we're good. When I changed some things around today, apparently I moved something else that I didn't want to move. So it's fine. I can get right to it. Okay. Ship City is the heart of humanity, but the body reaches farther than Jamua. Failed ventures on Nubi, mining operations on Mubara and Amalam's moons, ice haulers throughout the white fields of Albury, wildcatters in the outer fields. The guilds ostensibly hold sway and authority over every finger of humanity in the Great Dark. But in reality, the further they reach, the less they hold. Kyrem shipping is emerging as a power that few outside Ship City can ignore, and its CO, Yaroslav Sergin, clearly yearns for more. The rare metals mine on Zenzu, a moon of Amalam, has struck proverbial gold, making its backer, the Coriolite Dinhrana Masuf, a sudden and forceful player of wealth and influence. And then there's the wrecker problem. Lone ships and small fleets targeting traders, outposts, and even large convoys, taking supplies, ore, and people. And all this just in the Jamua system. Ship City is dying, but humanity spreads like the shadow of an open hand over the Great Dark. Yet there is hope. So, last session, you all left Ship City aboard the cruiser. We're not going to call it a great ship. Aboard the cruiser Akand and Akander, sorry, and took about 2 weeks to get from Jamua. And if you want to see this, recall you can jump into the charted sphere map and click on Jamua to see the system map. But about 2 weeks to travel the 44 AD to Lighthouse Station Barabus. Now, as we discussed last session, there were some things that you wanted to kind of do during that 2 weeks. It wasn't, when you're traveling in system, there's not necessarily a journey system, as it were. That doesn't really kick in until you get into the Slipstream, where weird things can happen. But it was 2 weeks that passed, so some of you were interested in speaking to some people, maybe starting some relationships. So I thought we'd start there, but there was a question that one of you had before we started that I can answer now, or you can wait until we get back to working on Lighthouse Station if you want. Up to you.
It's up to you, Brian. If you want me to ask it now, I can ask
Yeah,
it now,
go ahead.
or I can wait.
Go ahead.
So with the, like I said earlier, with the slipstreams, are the Black Toad and other enterprises likewise able to travel freely between systems?
So freely is a push, but it's possible. So the slipstream is dangerous. It knocks you about. It can do structural damage to hulls. The longer you're in it, the more danger you're in. I do believe I mentioned last session at one point, and some of you thought that meant something was definitely going to happen, that there are people who think you could potentially even take a shuttle into the Slipstream. But the prevailing wisdom is, no, you don't do that. There's a reason why we have great ships. However, there are cruisers. The Ikander was refitted to be a Slipstream cruiser, so normally I think when people think of cruisers versus ships, they think of a cruiser as being faster. That's not necessarily the case with the Ikander. It's just, it's less to deal with, let's put it that way. It's easier to handle, but it's not necessarily faster than one of the great ships. There's less to be concerned about too, because when you're talking great ships, I mean, you really have to think about the large ones are kind of like something you would see in Dune with the way they fold space between systems, but they have these great giant vessels that all these other smaller vessels kind of attach to, and depending upon the Dune depiction, are inside of before it shifts and moves. So it's kind of like that. But Black Toad have been seen in just about every system where there are people. They're able to board great ships just like anybody else is. It's not like they all just advertise that they're Black Toad. Wreckers have been seen in a lot of different systems. Now, I think one part of your question was interesting in that, before we started playing, you said something about, I think I heard you say something like, is anybody in control or anything like that of the Slipstreams?
Yes, so, is there a police force or an authority that looks after the Slipstreams?
There are entry and exit points, right, that are generally mapped and understood. All of these entry and exit points into the Slipstream are at the outer edge of the systems, as we discussed last time, kind of like in what would be our Oort cloud, beyond, at the outer reaches of the systems, like gravitational pull. Why that is, nobody really knows, but that's where they are. But they're mapped, right? So like it's not a portal per se, but like they're known entry and exit points. So like there are
freeway,
patrols,
exit way sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of like on and off ramps, right? So there are patrols. Sometimes they are backed, I guess, by the guilds. Sometimes, if you go far enough out, they might be a patrol of whatever the local kind of government is, because, you get far enough away from Ship City and it takes months to get to you, you're going to develop your own councils and whatnot. Although oftentimes those councils are seated by people from the guilds that just are out there, right? So yeah, there is a patrol force, but I mean, they can't catch everybody. Space is big, even in a single system, and those on and off ramps are, a matter of thousands of kilometers across, as opposed to
it's a big area.
Few meters, right? So
you can lose a ship in it still.
I suppose bribery's still a thing as well.
Oh, aye.
Bribery is still a thing.
Of course it is.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
As long as money's a thing, bribery's a thing, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. And obviously money is very much a thing.
Aye.
So yeah.
Hopefully
that answers your question.
Could I ask a quick question based on your introduction?
Yeah.
This is the third horizon? Correct?
Or this is what is currently known as the Lost Horizon.
Which came from the third horizon.
But everyone here came from the third horizon, correct?
But we weren't the only people in the who were left. Presumably there are still the humanity.
Presumably there are still people in the third horizon, yes.
Okay, fine. So we are not the only humans in the galaxy.
No, I think it's probably better to think of each horizon as a galaxy, right? So you're the only humans in this
In
galaxy.
the galaxy, we left.
Right.
The third
Okay.
horizon was a previous galaxy. This is now
Yeah.
the last horizon. Technically, the fourth horizon, I guess, because it's one after the third.
Technically, yeah, it would
Is-
be the
is-
fourth
is-
horizon.
Is
yeah.
a new galaxy. So is that
Yeah.
the fourth galaxy away from Earth, basically?
Yes. Correct.
Aye.
If you count Earth as a horizon, this would be the fifth, but we're just gonna not worry about that.
The first
So,
horizon was the next galaxy over from
the
Milky
next
Way.
galaxy over,
Earth's
correct?
galaxy, the Milky Way. The next one over is
Yeah.
the first horizon. And here we are
Yeah.
on the last horizon, the lost horizon, the fourth one.
Right.
Four away
Now,
from
don't
Earth.
ask me which actual galaxies all of that maps to, because
Doesn't matter.
this is fiction, and nobody's done that, right?
We're not-
It doesn't matter.
We have a number of something away from
Yeah.
Earth, away from that
Yeah.
timeline, and we've
Yeah.
got that in a number of jumps that kind of quantifies it,
Yeah.
but it's still quite nebulous. It's not years, it's just a 1, 2, 3
Our
kind of
favorite
thing,
word.
which works for me. It's my favourite word, 100% these days.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
presumably we no longer have that technology, along with all the other technology we've lost.
So
Because the original ships that came here make up Ship City. They were taken apart, weren't they?
correct. You could potentially rebuild ships to return to the third horizon.
Brings me to another question. I'm trying
But
to
you would
remember.
basically have to, like, society would have to be broken down and rebuilt again from the ground up to rebuild those ships, because all of the current humanity's efforts have gone into the great ships and understanding the Slipstream and
moving
being able
around
to
this
travel through that.
horizon.
Yeah.
Is there any active search for a next horizon?
So in every system that humans have gone to in the Great Dark, and we can go back to the charted sphere if you want to take a look at that. So, pretty much every system that they have there that has like the kind of reddish circle around it,
Yep.
there are people there, right? Might not be a whole lot depending upon, where, but there are people in each of those systems.
Okay.
And we have even gone to the other systems that are there.
Like these ones.
Well, gone to is maybe a stretch. We've observed.
Been for a spin around them or whatever.
Well, not necessarily that. More
even-
like we've, long range telescopes,
We know
things
that
like
it's
that,
there.
spectrography.
Right.
We've looked at those systems, and using the technology that we have, we know that every single one of these systems has a portal exactly where we would expect it to be, at one astronomical distance from the sun, exactly where they've been in every horizon that we've been to thus far. Keeping in mind that we didn't make these portals.
Mm-hmm.
So every single one of those systems that we've been able to observe has one of these portals, and all of the portals in the Lost Horizon are dead. Every single one that we found.
Yeah, we've not got any living
So-
portals.
The
As a matter of
only-
interest,
Yeah.
as a matter of interest, you say they're all at one astronomical unit from the sun, correct?
Correct. Yes.
My understanding is that the astronomical unit is defined as the distance from the Earth to the sun.
Oh, sorry. Astronomical distance, AD. So not necessarily an AU, which you're correct.
Right.
That
Okay.
in our mathematics would be the distance from Earth to the sun, but it's their measurement, right? So
Okay. As a matter of
and
interest, how does that compare with the distance from the Earth to the sun?
So if you're looking at the Jamua sphere, it would probably be best to imagine that an actual AU would probably be somewhere in between Ship City and Mabara.
Mm-hmm.
Here is one.
So
AU.
one AD is maybe a tenth of that, perhaps, roughly.
Okay. So probably about the orbit of Mercury, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Pretty good
close
to use those.
Well, so the distance is just the distance that they've always found that conventional shielding and starship technology will protect you. Like, people still go to the tomb portal of Erakavarat in Jamua because it's essentially a delve. Like, it's a giant ancient machine. They do delves on it.
Yeah.
To look for more technology and understanding and stuff. It's been delved quite a bit, so there's probably not very many new ideas coming out of it, but people still go. But if you start getting, once you pass that distance, however far you need to go, it's not long before, you start taking you start having issues with heat shielding and radiation shielding and all that fun stuff. Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
So we are here.
Well, we're gonna back up a little bit, remember, because you all you asked me about some NPCs on the ship.
Oh, that's
and we
right.
were gonna talk about some interactions maybe with some of them.
Before we get there, yeah.
Before you get there. So,
Cool.
Max, you didn't really show a lot of interest in engaging with anyone specific. You did ask me who... You basically wanted to know who was going to be on hull guard duty with you, right? Because that's the duty that you selected. And so
that's
going
one of
through...
the duties.
Well, that's one of the duties, but going through the crew manifest, probably unsurprisingly, well, I think it's unsurprising. It depends on whether or not you all would think that. So all of the cargo specialists and the tug pilot are basically signed up for doing hull guard, right? Because assuming that the cargo is well taken care of, when you're in transit, they don't have a lot to do, right? I mean, they have to check to make sure that the cargo isn't shifting around and stuff, but that's not going to employ all of them all day, or the tug pilot, right? So they all are on the hull guard duty as well, the duty roster. So there's quite a few people to kind of to switch out there. I will point out that at any given time, on a ship the size of the Akander, there's probably at least 3, maybe 4 hull guards when you're in transit.
Mm-hmm.
1 fore and aft, and 1 dorsal and keel underneath, right? Because you gotta keep an eye out everywhere in space. So that's really all I had put together for you. Now, if you want to engage with any of them, I mean, you guys have the crew manifest. You tell me who you want to talk to. I know that just kind of going around based on what I had, Oliver, you asked about gardeners on the ship. Mm-hmm. So in the 2 weeks as you were traveling, you, as much as you can with your, your little quirks and whatnot, you're not exactly the...
I'm not the social butterfly that David
The social
is.
Butterfly, right?
Mm-hmm. That Dave is.
But you kind of watched some people and maybe worked up the courage to ask some people here and there, and would have found out relatively easily, because nobody really keeps it a secret, that Carlin Grift, the ship's surgeon, he is a gardener. And Shala Tyvar, the ventilation steward. I have her down as specialist, but she's a steward, actually.
The ship's
She
surgeon
is a gardener.
is someone I remember Osric also wanted to get to know, so perhaps me and Osric could do that at the same time even. Speaking of Osric,
potentially.
David, we're getting a bit of like a feedback sound coming from you or your microphone every now and again. I don't know what it is, but it's just like a bzz, bzz, bzz every now and again.
I don't know what it is. I haven't got anything making noises here.
Yeah, you're nice and loud and clear when you talk, and then now and again it just does a wee buzz noise. It's not doing it just now though. It stopped. As soon as I said it, it stopped, which is good. That's the computer doing what it's told by Oliver, because it knows best. So whatever you were doing, David's computer, you have stopped, and that's good. Thank you.
So yeah, Shalatyvar, ventilation steward, and then you also wanted to get to know Gerber Zort.
Gerber Zort, which is the younger brother of someone else, Zort.
Cargo specialist. Yahood.
And they were both cargo specialists, the younger and the older brother, or the bigger.
They're
and the
both
small
cargo
brother?
specialists.
That's
yes.
right.
There is no. And speaking of Yahood,
Rico was going
Edris wanted to.
It was Edris wanted to get to know him. Yes.
Yeah, was gonna get to know Yahood. So
I could...
they are both cargo specialists. Neither of them have any guild affiliation that you're able to determine by talking to people and potentially them. It is interesting that they both have the same rank because, as I said last session, it's fairly apparent that Yahood is kind of king of the cargo bay.
And he's the boss of the cargo bay as well.
Yeah, but I mean, he's rank-wise, he's just a cargo specialist, like all the rest of them are.
But it's like certain groups of people who are biggest and strongest, he's the boss. Like orcs in 40k.
Right.
Biggest is boss.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
He is big.
Yeah.
He is big. Like, oddly, like, potentially a mutation. Like, he's like 7 feet tall. He's a big man.
Like Shaquille O'Neal big.
Absolutely. Okay, and so obviously, Edris, you'll have a moment, a scene or two to engage with Yahood if you wanted to. Who else did Edris want to know about? Oh, machinists.
The machinists, yeah.
Again, probably unsurprisingly, the first and second engineers and all of the machinists on staff are members of the Machinist Guild, right? So, Davud Sigmund, Manala Lee, Kerfalu, Tif Hara, Samboon. I love that name, Samboon, whoever came up with that. Samboon, Hisma, and Surfan Vantaliv. They are all machinists. So you can engage with those if you want to talk about guild stuff. Now, as far as, because obviously none of you have access to your primary contact in your guilds right now. So, in order to get that experience,
you said it was possible.
You're going to have to make some connections.
New contacts, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
But it will have to be with somebody from your guild.
So I have to meet the gardener, so maybe that's the first thing I do.
Speaking of which, well, Osric wanted to know about some people as well.
Yeah, I'm not
and
greedy
this
to
might
go first,
also
though, from everybody. Someone else should.
Well, I just want to give you the overview because this might also affect Rico, considering his background. So, Osric, you asked about the Herat. First of all, what is a Herat? I could find no translation of what a Herat is, so I just made a decision that, based on being on the command crew and being a Coriolite, that a Herat is a kind of a scholar or lore master mixed with a chaplain, right?
That
So
sounds
they
cool.
are
Maester.
knowledgeable.
The Maester.
Yeah, kind of. So Yevgola Almasi Mir Zamasu is the Herat. They are a Coriolite, obviously. And then
Well, of course, you're best people for it.
we already mentioned Carlin Grift, which you're interested in, the ship surgeon. And then also another person that you mentioned was the master algebraist, which is Eilenin Raunus.
This list is somewhere for us to see, Brian, isn't it?
Yeah,
the names.
the
In your crew
Please,
notes.
then
This is in your journal.
Crew journal number 18 on the list.
Thank
Yeah.
you, gents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Shima can't
So
zoom it.
Eilenin Raunus is she is a navigator, which is not surprising for a master algebraist. So that might also be of interest to Rico, since she is a part of a guild that you were
What
a part
is
of.
a magic? What is there? What does the title mean? What does that
Master
title mean?
Algebraist. So they are equal
Master of
parts.
numbers.
Master of numbers, master of programming, master of they would oversee everything to do with charting, navigation, piloting.
Oh, okay.
They don't necessarily specifically do those things themselves, but they oversee it and they provide the information necessary to do those things well, if that makes sense.
So they work
Yes.
kind of like IT. Like
Yeah,
I
think of
believe.
them like a living computer processor to help
Okay.
the navigator and the captain and the pilots to be able to deal with all of this
Ship's
information.
IT. It's the ship's IT guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be something that he could look into.
So, those are kind of the main people. Again, if you have questions about names and who's who, don't be afraid to ask because I know it's a lot of people.
Yep.
But who
To be
wants to
honest-
talk? Who wants to talk
Sorry.
to who?
To be honest, I think Algebraist is also ship's navigator, because as an Algebraist, I have.
Do you not have
the
navigators?
skill- There isn't a navigator as a role
Oh, okay.
on the list.
So they are then the navigator as well. I thought we
Yeah.
had navigators.
Wait,
I
there is,
wasn't-
there
I
is,
was looking at
there
my
is,
notes,
there
not
is.
the
Dave,
list.
David, look at flight crew right under Algebraist. You've got second navigator.
Ah, my apologies. Right.
Navigator is a thing.
Oh, so second navigator. So the master
You've got
algebraist would
first
be the first
pilot.
navigator.
No, you
on
first
track.
first pilot, then you got second pilot, then you got second Algebraist and second navigator. So the set
Right.
Yeah,
So the
so
master algebraist would
is an
also be the
algebraist
first
and a
navigator.
navigator.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't say master
Okay.
algebraist. There is no master algebraist. Only a second algebraist
Man,
and a
they're in the
second
commanding
navigator.
crew.
No, they're
it's
in the
command crew.
they're in the
Oh, it's
command
in the
crew.
command crew, so it is.
Yeah.
Yes, got you. See it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I probably, if I would talk to, it would be the second Albert, that or the navigator of the flight crew, because I'm more that one is like because the command crew is more like like for me, it's like
Officers.
Coriolis, they're like the top right there. I'm more like the kind of the crew and
So,
People that make
You
it work.
can speak to the second algebraist or the second navigator, but I will point out neither of them are full navigators. If you want to make a relationship with a navigator so that you can gain that experience point for interacting with navigators, you'll need to make a relationship with
the
with,
master.
the master algebraist,
algebraist.
Okay.
Islanin.
Island and Runus.
Or to be fair, you can just I think at this point if there are other people that you want to make contacts with, I know that the experience page says, interacting with your background. But I mean, we've been playing for 16 sessions, 15
Yeah.
sessions. I think we can change that to interacting with a contact.
So if a contact's valuable anyway, a valuable contact doesn't have to necessarily be from the same guild as us. Makes sense.
It
'cause
does say affiliated faction, though.
it does. I mean, it makes sense. Like even that if we're on a ship that we have to find someone from our affiliated faction to get
Yeah.
that XP, it's a thing you have to try and do.
But does
I
the
like
Explorers
it.
Guild come under that?
No, because we
'Cause
are the
an
Explorers Guild.
aren't we?
Because
Yeah,
then
you are the
everything.
explorers.
Because Muska is our boss for that, and we get a separate thing for that, don't we?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we don't speak to Musker every day.
Exactly.
That's
but no,
true, but your affiliated faction is supposed to be the faction that you
You
once
came
were a
from.
part
Came
of.
from.
Yeah.
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 But I'm just wondering if this, like you said, if your affiliated faction, if you're
I
going to
think-
stick to that rule hard and fast, and it rules one of us out, maybe letting.
Well, I think the reason
Again,
why it can't
Because
be.
there's got to be explorers on the ship.
I know-
Apart from,
I th-
are we
I
the
thi-
only explorers on
we
the
are
ship?
the explorers, and I think the reason it's.
Yeah.
I think the reason
Oh,
why.
except-
Except for the
There you go.
The reason why it can't
except
be
for
the
the three
explorers
nameless people that you recruited
that
as
are
backup
standbys.
characters,
The reason
you're
we,
the only
the reason it
explorers,
can't be the explorers is because then we would all get an XP for doing the same thing, and it wouldn't encourage any different roleplay between the different characters, and that's why we have to go to the different guilds to do different
Well,
kind of roleplaying with
you
the different
say
characters
that,
and
but
involving different
it's-
backgrounds. I feel like
if
So
you've got
I-
something to drive it, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I feel like
yeah.
that
I am
makes
gonna
sense.
I am gonna change. I am gonna change that experience point though. And the reason why, even though he's not here, so Brian's primary faction connection, I believe, is to the Zapti
Yes.
Mhm.
I believe so.
Yeah.
on
Yes.
some level.
And there's no any
There's no
Zapti
Zapti in
outside of
space.
Ship City, aye.
But
So-
there is a guard master.
There is a guard
Could be-
master,
Could be
true,
Zapti.
but
It could be fun
I
with that
will. I'm going to handle it like this. I will allow you. You can make as many contacts as you want, but in any given game session, if you want to have a discussion with me about changing your contact to someone that you can engage with, that you feel like can move the story forward or can be useful, you can have a new primary contact, and interacting with that person will give you that experience point,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
basically what we want to try and do this session is try to figure out who your new primary contacts are.
Mhm.
But again, I've given you some information.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any ideas? Do you want to approach anyone? Do you want to have, again, keeping in mind this is in that like 2-week period travel.
So I think with a couple of them we had the possibility to do
Barabus.
shared scenes with a couple of them because a couple of us wanted
Potentially.
to speak to the same people. So let's try and work out some of them first if we can, I think. So
Okay, I
There
mean,
was-
there's Carlin Griff, ship surgeon, is a gardener
aye.
and also a surgeon. So
So
I know
that-
Osric wanted to speak to him.
And I did also. If Ozil and Osric both want to speak
Okay.
to him, we could start with that. That's a shared scene for two of us. Think, David?
Sure.
Do him first.
Can do. I mean, I'm probably not very interested in your gardening side of things, apart from mushrooms. Of
I'm
course.
not necessarily
Um,
going to ask him many questions about gardening. I just want to get to know him because he's a gardener. You can do most of the talking here. I just want to become acquainted. Mostly, that's fine.
Well, and to
Very
be
good,
fair,
very good.
talking about shared interaction scenes, I mean, you can all be in every scene if you want. I don't care.
Mhm,
Like, you
mhm.
guys can be traveling around the ship getting to know various members of the crew, right? You don't all
Yeah,
have
we
to...
could stick together and
Yeah.
True.
It's up
We
to
can
you.
all meet everybody. We don't have to be splitting up to do this.
Right. So if you want to get to know Carlin Grift, it's very easy to find out. I think I mentioned this last time anyway, that he does spend a lot of his downtime in the command lounge and also the garden hold.
Right.
Or you can try and talk to him when he's on shift. It's up to you.
Carlin Griff, where am I going to find him? He is the ship surgeon.
Right-hand column, top
Yeah,
row.
found him.
Medical and security.
Yeah, ship surgeon. Carlin Grift. Yeah, let's go meet them.
Are we actually on duty yet? When you say on duty,
So you are in the 2 weeks expected to engage in your duties.
I forgot what my
um,
job even is.
Again, it's fine. We'll deal with it again when we go into
That's
the
why he has
slipstream.
it written down.
A lot of them, aside from Hull Guard, a lot of them don't really come into play until you're in the slipstream.
yes, but I
But-
could do with some training, even if it's not active
True.
work,
Yeah,
because I'd hate to start learning in the slipstream.
yeah, that's fair. So you were gonna do.
I think I was going to offer ask
That's
Ashers
one thing I
to
didn't write
provide
down last time.
light protection to myself and 2 others for the shift, and help out on getting rid of ice.
Okay, de-icing. Yeah. So that would also some of the cargo crew would probably be doing that as well.
So, I mean,
Tyvar probably engages in that. I mean, the
there's-
duty shifts do rotate. So, I mean, you guys won't always be stuck to the same duties either, unless you really want to be.
Well, I don't know what the rest of you feel like, but I feel that if there are any duties that we are doing, it may well help for us to learn what each other's going to do. Because, if anyone falls ill or there's a
Be able to
horrible
step
accident
in and
medbay for a little bit,
Just so that
can step in. So I suggest whatever duties we've offered to do, we take a duty shift
And
each, and we all attend and get training
and an
in
extra
that skill at that time.
A reason we all want to learn all the skills, I think, is because to step in for each other, because if one of us can't work one day, the other one can step in. And I feel like we need to represent ourselves well and be a reliable crew. We're the explorers here, and we need to like be.
I love how much you guys are thinking about these duty shifts, but they're, in the mini game, they're not all that important. But I love how much you're thinking about it.
We're taking our jobs.
Idris is thinking the easiest way to get out of his duty. That's got going through Idris's mind.
We've got to take it serious.
So,
it's very
Now
important.
you've all said that, I'll be like, right, I'll be ill on this day, I'll be ill on this day, I'll be ill on this day.
Let me ask you this, David, who would you ask for training? Just whoever randomly is doing it, or?
Well, no, I'll find out who's in overall charge of the de-icing.
I think that's
as far
the
as
whole cover,
assigning
right?
shift and so on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who is in overall charge would be the first officer.
In which case, I will ask the first, explain to the first officer that before we get to the slipstream, I would like training, and who would be the best person to give me that training, without disrupting their normal duties.
Oh, well, without disrupting their normal duties, it would be myself. Is it just you, or are the rest of your group interested in some training in these 2 weeks as well?
I have suggested that we should all take that training, just in case there is a problem and somebody can't take that particular shift. So,
agreed.
If it would be possible, we would all like to get training in the various roles that we volunteered for.
Agreed.
Travel to the Lighthouse is quite routine for me and the captain at this point. Although this is a new ship, we don't foresee any terrible troubles as we head out to Barabus. So I can set aside some time for each of the duties if all 5 of you would be interested in doing a shift with me, and then I could go over the finer points of everything and thus give you at least some training.
That would be very helpful, First Officer.
Very well.
If I could leave it to you to arrange, I will notify the others.
I will do so, and I will send a message to. You've all decided to spend your evening. Well, not evenings, but sleep in your shuttle, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Yes, of course.
Because I remember
send...
somebody said that there's already crew had settled in on single and we're loving the idea of getting a single Peter and not having to share, and we might mess that up if we now started taking the thing. So we're just going to stick to what we know. We're quite well kitted out and comfy within our ship and our rover, so we're fine in there. We've got all the mods codes in there. It's like my mum's caravan. It's quality. We've got all the good shit.
You're all doing this, or is Edris gonna duck out?
Edris gonna play poker somewhere, and he's gonna.
You better win if you're fucking off to play poker. You better.
It's 2 weeks. What are you gonna do for 2 weeks?
What? I'm
nothing. If you can avoid
all
that.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Not very much if he has his way.
2 weeks.
If I have
Stay
to.
on the shuttle and do your Sierra.
If I have to.
Yeah, he's just looking out.
You don't have to. It's your call.
No, I'll stick with the guys because we've helped each other out in the past. I'll begrudgingly do it, but I will do it.
Well, it is for
You lazy so and so. I remember. Remember we're working, mate. Remember we're working. You can't just slack off and decide you're not
I'm a
doing it.
scoundrel. You know this, don't you?
Aye, a lazy.
So I love this. In this case,
I have hopes of bringing you up to the standards of the rest of us, Edris.
You're dragging us.
In this case,
what it means is you're dragging the average down, and we're not happy.
I love that Osric set this up. So in this case, I want each of you to make a logic roll for me.
Okay.
Oh, that's not going to go well.
This is the good. This is the good one.
It's not the end of the world if you fail. It's not the end of the world if you fail. It is 2 weeks. I will let you push it if you desire to.
Oh,
is it a specific talent or something I might have that I could add to it, or no?
Is one good, Brian? There's no point pushing that.
Make your case. One is enough.
Let me refresh because it's not letting me
Okay.
roll for some reason.
Let me see what I have. I mean, if we're working outside of probably exo specialist, if we're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but this this is for training, on the job training for all of the duty shifts.
So it's just your
throughout
brain.
the
How-
2 weeks.
How
So
good's your brain? No very good, Edris, eh?
No.
you can push it and immediately get your hope back since you are traveling for 2 weeks if you want.
Hey!
Oh, look at that. Yay!
Hey! Nice,
Rico
Max.
did it.
Well, I gotta be smart. I gotta.
Did I miss a roll from Osric, or have you not rolled yet, David?
I think
I've
we're
not
waiting on
rolled
us.
yet. 1 second.
Okay.
There's
Sure,
no
sure.
challenge, so it's just basic public roll.
Okay.
There we go.
Nice
So-
success.
Because you all succeeded, and you were attentive and engaged with all of the training for your duty shifts, when you do enter the Slipstream, if you have to deal with a specific event on your duty shift, I'm going to give you a bonus die to any rolls that you have to make.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay.
Because you did some on-the-job training.
Cool.
Aren't you glad you actually attended us, Edris?
Well, I look
Okay.
at them. Yeah, I look at them and it's like, I'm used to doing some of this stuff anyways.
I think
This is not for every Slipstream.
I think
John.
people
This is
people
for
would notice
this one.
for all these new jobs. I am obsessively counting the steps around the ship, how many it is, and I'm like left, right, 200 left, 225 left, left, 220, 425, and I'm just
Yep.
like constantly talking these really, and I'm annoying everybody probably with it, but
You-
it has
you-
a purpose.
You do well with the algebrist, you counting things. Go and sit next
Nah,
to the algebrist. for a
I've got
bit.
my own calculator going on in my head, and I'm just fueling it with numbers.
Well, I
Edris,
could
have you
also
got-
say
have you got
like,
any have you got any drugs that will help Ozil's memory? He seems to be trying to remember so many things.
I'm fine. I can remember them. I'm fine. I'm just learning. I'm
Just
just
mapping it out.
mapping my way around. Yeah,
Yes.
learning my way around.
I mean, because it's like if somebody knows like 1, 2, 3, 4 locks, that kind of little repetition of stuff like that. Some people
Obsessive
do something like-
compulsive.
It's
A little.
OCD.
I mean-
yeah, it's OCD.
Yeah.
It's obsessive. He does things obsessively. He's counting the. It's a new
That's-
place.
Shuts the door 3 times.
No,
and
no, he's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Well,
make sure it's
he
closed
does
and things
things.
like that.
I
Not
guess-
quite that one, but he does things. That's not one of them, but there is things.
It's ticks. It's little ticks.
I'm
that he
gonna-
does.
Ticks
I'm
is
gonna
the
move us
right
to
word.
A candor since we're traveling through space and doing stuff on the ship for now. Some nice little artwork in the background.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Very good.
Okay, so you do that throughout the week. What else are you gonna do? Who's gonna?
Actually,
Talk to
I'm gonna be
who?
working with the maintenance crew and the operations, but also talking
Okay.
to the master Albert.
Algebraist.
I'm trying.
Algebraist.
Yes, and to get more to know about the shifts and stuff and just numbers, and it's just more like it's just like I want to learn like basically, include the engineer, the master engineer, because as he knows more to ship, to know like if I'm going around the ship, I can know like certain points where, hey, I need to know this is supposed to be this temperature, this is supposed to be at this number. As a
Yeah.
mechanic, you got to know all
The
the ins and
structure
outs. He
also
knows
of it,
this
like-
and all the.
What it's made of, where it's, how thick it is, like what
So
speed
the
it goes.
question
the
I have for
mechanics.
you. The
Yes.
question I have for you then is when are you going to speak to the master algebraist?
After
And
that
in what
first,
circumstances?
probably when we're doing the how we do a crew their crew dinner, and just ask questions about that because like master engineer might be there
Okay.
too, and just ask us like questions about like how the distance of travel is, how this kinds of stuff
Sure.
works out.
So, as you sit down, and maybe you do this over the course of a few different meals in the evenings,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because the
Mhm.
crew, and even the command crew, as I said last session, they all eat in the common mess together, and they share the same meals. At least the dinner shift meal, right? So you discover fairly quickly that Raunus, the master algebraist, even at these shared meals, tends to keep to herself. She does sit at the table where the majority of the command crew are sitting, although the majority would be like the captain, the first officer. Some of the other command crew are just kind of dispersed out, and they sit in different places. It's not like there's assigned seating every night. It's kind of an open affair, and a relaxed one, a comfortable one. But she tends to, even among a crowd, keep to herself, and seems not aloof, just reserved. Fairly quiet when she speaks. Give me an empathy test if you try to chat her up, even while doing so with the master machinist. Like,
sure. I'm trying to figure out
well,
if I can...
Are you going to bring up anything about being a navigator?
Well, yeah. He
or having been.
He basically talks to her. Is like, hey, he walks up to her, gives her a slow about, and what it actually does, he actually has his keepsake with him, which is the out of date, like star chart that he has.
Oh, okay.
And it basically is for him is like he keeps it with him all the time, and he's just inside that, and he said greetings. I'm Rico Sutherland. I'm part of the crew of the Explorer Guild that has been attached to the ship. I'm, getting noted, talking with more of the crew about the ship, and as the master title that she has, I want to get to know more about these ships, because I've never actually gotten a chance to write on one of these. And it's like, what could you tell me about, the different systems, how they work, how they regulate, and all that kind of stuff? If something I pick up and see, I can always relate to somebody around me or to you.
Okay. So yeah, make your empathy test and add a bonus die.
Ooh, nice.
They once on
push
that. Yeah, push that, mate.
You can push it if you want.
Love how you just give it up
got
or even
success.
saying algebraist. Fuck that word, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I said their
So-
title.
Ah, exactly.
You
That'll do.
with one success, you do draw her interest, and in fact, since you have your star chart with you, she does take an interest in that as well. She's like, that's quite out of date,
Oh yes, it's a family relic that we've had. I've been told it's been from when we first traveled through the portal to go over here, and always been like a lucky charm for our family. I've actually been told some of my family have been like great pilots and have helped with the first ships that came through. And it just, as now we are now, it just help make sure the ships are better and keep them together.
I would enjoy taking a closer look at it if you would give me the leave to do so at some point.
Oh yeah, so he just shifts to her, and always probably as they're probably getting closer, different lunches
Sure.
to have it, and he just points out and asks the questions like, hey, what do you know about the history of this chart? And just more that he can tell some of his family that might not know about it.
So, over the course of 2 weeks, you're able to make a connection with her. You can list her as your primary connection on the ship now.
Okay. All right. So I got me change our. Can I just instead of that one, just continue on and still have the whole guard, but just add
You
her?
should just be able to add her
Yeah.
after the hull guard.
That's what I was gonna.
The field should scroll enough to where you can add more contacts.
Yep, that's what I'm about to do.
Oh, and I guess I can add her to my notes for you.
Yeah, you can just add contacts. It's not a single thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 3 on my list so far.
I'll check you out.
Mind you,
Check you out.
mind you, one of them's dead.
What's the point on having them on it? So you've not really got 3. You've got a dead person's
Well, I
name on there.
I need to speak to the Herat about a seance, I think.
Hey boss, how's everything in the afterlife?
Aye, that one doesn't count, David. You've got 2.
I've got 2, but one's not quite a full contact. So I've got effectively 1 so far.
So you feel comfortable approaching her in the future, and she seems open to you. I will tell you that even as you get to know her over the couple of weeks, and you talk about your shared history together as navigators, she's quite intrigued by the fact that although you're a navigator, you tended more towards the. She mentions a few times jokingly but pleasantly that you should have been a machinist. Because she recognizes that you're about like fixing things and working on the ships more than like being an algebraist or whatever. But she understands that not everybody in the Navigators Guild is an algebraist, right? So you are an interesting aspect of her guild that she's not as familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
But even as you talk to her over the few weeks, it becomes very apparent to you fairly quickly that she avoids all questions about her personal background aside from being in the Navigators Guild. So, make of that what you will. Okay. Osric, you said you wanted to speak to the Herat?
Primary contact will be with the Herat because she's a fellow Coriolite. So,
but yes.
Sorry, he is a fellow Coriolite.
Oh wait, no, it is she. No, it's he. My mistake. It's he. So Yevgola.
Herat. Yevgola. Alama Semir. Zamusa.
Yeah. That's perfect. You did it.
A lot of beautiful names in there.
I said that and all the furniture in my room started elevating.
Some of the spirits, man. You gotta be careful doing that.
Yeah.
I should show you guys that in my notes on Osric's line. It's got first servant Kerr, but strike through first servant Nima.
I need to edit that because it's currently saying second servant Nima on my list of contacts.
Nima's first servant.
She's definitely first servant.
Okay. Question: how do I edit my contacts again?
There's a top right or somewhere on it. There's a little like pen on paper icon. It's like a square with a little thing in it. A pen on paper icon.
Can't see it.
No.
Hover
it's
over
in,
the box.
It's
You can make your character sheet bigger.
In bio, go to contacts. If you just hover over the box where it says the name, if you look top right, there's a wee pencil on paper icon.
No, there isn't.
No?
No, there isn't.
No, there really isn't. I'm looking at his sheet too.
That's
there isn't
weird.
mine.
Is it a different mode? Is he in a different mode? Is that what it is?
I don't think there is an edit mode on these sheets.
What is?
Oh no, there is.
Mode.
So the very upper right corner of your character sheet.
Oh yeah, there's an edit mode, play mode, top right there.
Change to edit mode. So right next to the X to close your sheet, there's a change to edit.
I remember
button.
you can play in edit mode.
Fine.
Everything works to play with in edit mode, so just leave it in edit mode, mate. And then you can edit things and just play off it. Yeah.
That's what
I don't think I changed it. I certainly don't remember changing it.
I just put you in edit mode, so you should be able to do it now. No, it's still not showing up. Do you need to open your sheet again?
Probably.
Oh, it keeps switching back to play mode.
Is it a glitch?
Why won't yours stay in edit mode?
Change to edit mode.
Now it is.
No.
I think it's one of you changing it, and the other one's changing it. I think it's you both doing it at
That
the
might
same
be.
time.
That might be. I'm gonna stop messing with it.
I think it's because
Go ahead and
doing
click on
it.
it.
At the same time.
What you want is you want that little icon next to your close button to look like a little pencil in a box.
I've changed it to pencil in a box, and then I closed it again, and I'll open it again. Ha! It's still a pencil in a box. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got it.
There you go, bud.
Okay. Well, I shall first of all try and find out what the Herat's duty station is. Is it on the bridge?
It is on the bridge. Yes.
Okay.
Now he is. Pull up the map here. So he wouldn't be on the flight deck. He would take seats essentially in the.
Would it be a secondary?
Oh, that's the
maybe?
captain's quarters.
How do I get back
Would it
to
be in the
the
second-
No, I
ship?
guess.
The ship map.
You can go back to the landing page.
How do I get back to the landing page from here?
You should always have access to the landing page, don't you? Oh, maybe you don't. Hang on.
Not from
I
here.
don't think it's in this.
Yeah, there's
Not
no.
on this page.
There's no icon. It just says the
Hang on,
Akanda.
hang on. I got it. Okay, now you should have a drop-down menu at the top left for
Okay, there you go.
locations, and
I mean-
landing page should be available
go.
to you.
I may need to refresh.
Right.
So yeah, I guess he would be on the flight deck, or no, he would only be on the flight deck if his presence was requested. So his actual duty station would probably just be kind of wherever he wants to be at the moment, unless he's called to the bridge.
Fair
So
enough.
he often will spend time in his quarters, or the command lounge, or just the mess. He gets around.
Brian, I don't want to refresh
Oh,
because it's messy. Can you just pull me to that map, please?
I can,
Thank
I
you.
think.
Okay. Well, I will seek him out wherever he is,
Appreciate it.
and greet him as a fellow Coriolite.
Okay. Did I pull you, Oliver?
Yeah, it's went.
Yeah.
You give him the secret handshake, David, aye?
The little.
So yeah, we'll say that your first encounter, you catch up with him in the command lounge, and he's
very good.
got his mask on at all times. You would assume he probably only removes it in his quarters by himself.
Where's command
Very
lounge? I'm
good.
trying to catch up with you. Where's command lounge on the map? What number?
Command lounge is
it's on-
crew level number 7.
Crew level number 7. There it is. And the crew level's the top one, isn't it? This one here.
The middle one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, correct.
It's
So yeah,
number six,
he
isn't it?
he
Or is it 7?
he greets. It's 7.
Seven,
He
yeah.
greets you in the Coriolite manner as well, and says, "Mirmibo, a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Indeed. May I ask whether it is correct to address you as Herat or Mia while on board?
Herat will suffice in front of others. When it is, and he looks around and it's just the two of you. When it's just us, you may refer to me as Yiv, if you please.
I am grateful for the honor, Mirza Musa.
Well, we'll be traveling together for some time, so formalities in front of others, of course, as is our way, but when it's just the two of us, we can relax a bit, I think. My cousin
indeed.
speaks highly of you.
Would that be the first servant?
Nima, yes.
She rose to the occasion. It was a terrible time. I was glad that I and my assistants were able to be of service in her hour of need.
And did quite well, is my understanding. First Servant Kerr's loss is a tragedy, but he was a traditionalist, and Nima, I think, will move us in the right direction. She's quite progressive.
I'm sure she will bring great honor on the sept. I will inquire as to whether what services he is holding for the crew on a regular basis, and ask if I might assist in any way.
Well, being that you and I are the only actual Coriolites on the crew, the captain has said that I may, if I like, give talks, but not to expect too many congregants, as it were. So instead, I make myself available on a personal basis to any who should require me. And that does include the captain and the command crew, of course. Indeed.
Well, as I say, I have some knowledge of customs and the ancient histories, and if I can be of service to you at any time, please don't hesitate to call me. And since we will be together on this journey for some considerable time, I would be grateful if we could spend time together socially too, rather than around strangers.
You will always be welcome at my table.
Thank you. If there is anything that you wish to discuss about recent events that First Servant Nima may not have given you chapter and verse on, then I am of course at your service.
I am no first servant, and it is not my place to ask for details that she was unable or unwilling to provide to me. Suffice it to say that she was pleased with your and your crew's actions. She informed me that I should extend all courtesy to the rest of your crew as well. Surprising that they were given free pass, as it were, to the district.
Indeed. I believe it was felt that they had performed exceptionally well. And... Sorry, Oliver.
Did I say assistants?
He did.
I called them my assistants.
Oh, and I caught it. Don't think it got past me. I noticed it.
Well, none of you are actually present because of course
Exactly.
Rather than
That's what. That's,
We don't know what's going on.
That's why I said it in there instead of speaking.
Anyway,
Well, I'm glad I glossed over it. I'm glad you pointed it out to me, because now that's probably exactly how Herat thinks of the rest of you.
These Coriolites, I'm not saying nothing else. Like, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Well, why do you think we're kept as a separate group? Anyway, yes, so I shall establish relations, and if possible, I would like to make him my contact on the ship.
You may do
He's
so.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, I think I will seek out Ozil, because he mentioned wanting to speak to the ship surgeon as well.
Anybody else want to talk to the doc with them, or Carlin? Yeah.
Carlin?
That was me and Osric. Does anybody else want to go speak to him? It's probably worth us all knowing the ship surgeon, eh?
He's not the doctor. I want to be clear, but he is a doctor.
Yeah.
Is there an officially someone who is officially the role of the ship surgeon, though?
In his duty station at the sick bay, because that's where I wish to get permission to carry out, to assist him, and if need be, use the sick bay in emergencies.
And I want to talk to him about
the crew or my associates.
I want to talk to him about what gardening they do on the ship while we're there. He's a gardener.
In his spare time, yes.
I like gardening in my spare time as well.
Sorry, I was trying to think of some ways to describe him. So, yeah, you guys meet with him on duty. He maybe is a little gruff at first because he is working. We'll say that the first time you engage with him, he's treating one of the cargo specialists for a bit of a maybe a sprain, perhaps a jammed finger or something like that from shifting cargo around. But once that person is taken care of and they're on their way, and at some of the meals you've discovered he is quite pleasant, but he is a bit doddering. You can expect him to check on that particular patient for at least a couple of days, constantly like, are you sure you're all right now? Is there anything else I can do? He cares, but he's a little bit too much of he's a bit of a helicopter parent, as it were, for the injured and the hurt.
A helicopter as in just hovers above like that? Is that what a helicopter?
Yeah.
Is that what they mean? Yeah, just because it's hovering
yeah,
nearby,
yeah.
right? Yeah. I never heard that before. Helicopter parent.
It's
That's a new one on me.
I think it's a more American term.
So, but yeah, he's able to sit down with you, and as far as Osric, I think you said your intention was to offer yourself as someone who could cover some shifts for him. He is quite pleased with that and happy to put you on the duty roster for being here to give him a little bit more time off, because he doesn't have a second on the ship.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm not fully trained. I have skills, but not up to his standards.
He will take some time to quiz you over some very basic things, the kinds of things that you might run into a ship, like for example the jammed finger, sprains, bowel issues from poorly prepared food. And as he's kind of going over some things with you, you have very little trouble answering him with the knowledge and the experience that you do have, but it does paint a picture of a ship that, at least thus far, is really just a bunch of minor issues. Indigestion, headaches, things like that. Nothing major. He does ask you a few questions, and these he specifically frames as hypotheticals for a couple of more serious issues, like what do you do if somebody has hypothetically a massive sucking chest wound, or because he's just testing, like, to apply pressure, to find the appropriate artery and suture it, and so on and so forth, right? And during this, I don't know how much Ozil is aware of medicine.
That was one of the points. I'm making notes in my hand here because there was a couple of points I wanted to make, and I'm making notes so I don't forget them. One of them relates to that. As you know, me and Ozil and Osric have a bit overlap with their skills, and we don't mind that because we feel like it's kind of good to have two people invested in the brainy stuff, and we're kind of doing a bit of overlap on it. I am going to look into being a bit of a medic as well, learning the basics of medics and first aid and stuff. So I want to spend time with Osric when he's doing that. Was one of my first points. If I can, when you are covering his shifts or whatever, I want to spend some time with you when you're doing it to also be learning. And I'm thinking mechanically that's me spending 5 XP on the thing later.
So
the nurse, whatever
Carlin,
it is, the talent.
Excuse me. Carlin says, if you're not on duty, you are welcome to be in sickbay and observe.
Well,
either myself or
I want to
Osric,
observe yourself and Osric if I can, because it's something I'm.
If you're not on duty, but
yeah,
I can't put you on the duty roster.
Of course,
yet.
It's something that I am looking at learning in the future, though. And then I wanted to talk to them about
very well
plants and herbs, and if there are in the garden here that they have, are they using any of their garden for things for like herbology, like for anything, for making any
ointments and stuff like that,
making any ointments and potions and things, or is it all used for food?
At this point, he kind of seems a bit frustrated. He's like, no, we just use it for food and for air scrubbing.
But I bet you wish maybe otherwise, though.
I've asked the captain. I have an interest in xenobotany, and I've asked the captain if he would allow me to set up a small garden on the side for any cultures that we might take or anything like that. And thus far, he's turned me down.
And I'm going to be uncharacteristically like conversational and chatty here, and I'll be like, yeah, just like in Ship City, the gardeners have got great ideas for things they could do with Ship City to make it so much more efficient and work so much better, but they just don't they just don't get the audience they should get. Like, for example, the guys at the what's it called, the City of the Dead, what did they compost the bodies? It's a much better idea. Hopefully they'll get on much better now that they're doing the thing.
Well, people are set in their ways, but I've heard that the garden, before we left, I heard that we have, he almost said the gardeners like he's not one. I've heard that we have,
No, yeah, we've got it now.
primary concern in the City of the Dead now.
We're getting this. We've got the
Perhaps
City of the
we'll
Dead
be able
now.
to sway people.
Things are finally happening the way they should. Like, we're getting control of things we should get control of. And this is me being very uncharacteristically cocky and like, yeah, we're the gardeners, we're awesome, and blah blah blah. And so I think I'm like nervously ripping off fingernail.
He's right there with you. I mean, nobody would survive on Ship City without us, right? I mean, where would they get their food? Where would they get their air?
Yeah, exactly.
And at this point,
exactly. And I'm getting more and more
the
confident.
two of them are just on a gardener high of we do everything.
I'm shaking my head and tut-tutting in the
And
background.
Osric can see me with
the same way
I've got like
him.
my hands are behind my back and I'm ripping out my fingernails and pulling hairs at the ends of my fingers because this is not me and I'm very nervous. Even though on the surface I look calm and ready, on like behind my back it's mum spaghetti. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm it's all bullshit, eh? Mm-hmm. So I'm like pulling fingernails out behind me at the same time.
I think
something.
Let me roll a die. Okay. So while you're talking to him, he does stop at one point and he says, I don't
Probably
mean
complaining about how smoky it's getting in here. I've
Sorry,
lit up
my
out of
friend's a chain
frustration.
smoker. I forgot to warn you about that. My mate's a chain smoker, eh? Mr. Healthy, Mr. Studies, medics and science and health in the human
sorry,
body.
sorry, I stub it out.
Smoke 60 a day though.
Oh yeah, they don't care on this ship. He says, "Pardon me, young man," speaking to Ozil. "I don't mean to be indiscreet, but it seems like you have some behavioral issues.
What do you mean?
If you would like, I could give you something to help temper."
But my mama told me that those were what made me special. You mean my quirks?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he picks a little.
If you ever feel the need, I'm certainly not going to push anything on you. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, I mean, if you think it's a problem, and he picks like a little scab off his face where he squeezed a spot that wasn't ready or something, he knows this is good for him. But he's like, really, I don't think I need help. I'm fine. I'm just normal.
Fair enough. If you ever feel like you do, I can prepare something for you.
What kind of thing would you have in mind? His curiosity is quite piqued. He doesn't really want to admit it, but he kind of wants to hear about it a little bit.
There are powders and incense that I could offer you that might help settle you.
So despite being the shy bookworm that he is, also loves a bit of drugs. Like, I'm listening.
Yeah, and he just goes into some botanicals. They all sound, I mean, this is, for all intents and purposes, you got to remember this is almost like 18th century science, right? Like
This is homeopathy.
It's a great time, which is a great time for drugs. It's one of the best times for drugs.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic time for drugs. Early 20th century is really good as well. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
So
you'll probably be prescribed laudanum.
ooh, lovely.
Probably, or something like that, yeah.
Or something along
the
nice,
same lines.
some nice opium or something like that. Some real classic.
Right. But he would be offering it to you in a medicinal form as opposed to like a smoked form. It would be a powder or a draught or I always say draught. I don't know why. Draft or a vapor of some kind, an incense. Possibly
they also
snuff.
provide
It's a powder.
snuff?
Yeah.
We share style. Listen, yeah.
It's up to you. He's just offering just a bit of role play. I'm not trying to force it.
When he made it sound like drugs, then I totally switched. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely would be interested in maybe trying that. I mean, I don't think it's causing me any major problems. And as he says, I don't think it's causing me any major problems. See like a drop of blood drip off the end of his finger.
So you, if you want to, you can add him as a contact.
Yes.
Since he's a gardener.
Yeah.
He knows where he's getting his cash.
What was his name again?
Harlan.
Name and title.
Harlan Grift.
CHARLON Grift. GRIFT.
Is it
surgeon or officer?
Is it Carlon
surgeon.
or Carlon? Because I thought it was an M.
Carlon with an N.
CH.
Charlon.
And grift like bullshit. Like that's a grift.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
No.
But he's not a
Grip.
grifter.
Right.
I want to point out.
I believe you. Thousands watching don't.
Yeah, we have the huge crew out there.
Okay.
Charlon Grift, and he is.
Edris.
Sorry, 1 second. And he is.
Yes.
He's the. What's his
Ship
title
surgeon.
here? Ship surgeon, yeah.
Ship surgeon. Edris, are you talking to anybody?
I am. I want to go and see, first of all, Yahud Zort. Or
Not hard to
if
find.
it's just factions, it would be, well, Tiff Hera or Samboon. Let's go with Samboon because Samboon's name is cool.
Sam Boone sounds like a whole cowboy, yeah.
Hey,
So-
you never know.
You run into Samboon, we'll say in the mess hall one evening, and Samboon looks like, because I want him to, he looks like an old Western,
Yeah.
like ranch hand.
Surely, his name's Sam Boone.
He's always wearing a hat, on the ship. It has kind of the appearance of maybe like a cowboy hat or an expedition hat, but you know, more appropriate for the universe.
Yeah, I get you.
He's always got a long tobacco cheroot sticking out of his mouth that he clearly rolls himself. Not always lit because he likes to be respectful, but he's always got one in his mouth.
Ready to
Well,
go.
he's not
sort of.
wearing a blanket.
He is wearing what is essentially a kaftan, which would be kind of
So
an
he's got a
Arabian version of a
he's got a
scarf.
poncho on. He's got a
Yeah,
poncho
he's got a
on.
poncho on. Yeah.
Aye, I can picture this guy very well, like.
Excellent.
I
Yeah,
suppose he has a gun on his hip as well.
Nope, nobody's armed. Nobody's armed.
Got a shooting
currently.
iron.
I am.
He
does-
have the holster there.
He does have a holster, yeah. no
Of
gun.
course he
Nice.
does. Of course he does.
Nice.
Bandana around his neck and
Well, I
everything,
mean,
mate.
it's...
He's got his wee
But
stars,
he's got
spikes
the
on his
full-on,
shoes.
like-
have a name.
Please tell me he's got
He's
stars
Samboon,
on
with
his
no
yes.
name. He does have a name.
He does have a name, yeah. He, as you approach him the first time, he looks up at you, and maybe it's from the cheroot he's got lit at this particular point in time. We'll say you run into him in the mess hall, but off meals, so he's just taking a bit of a break, or maybe he's not on shift. He's got a rag out on the table in front of him, and some piece of equipment that has been, not a gun. I want to be clear. Maybe it is, but he's got some piece of equipment laid out in front of him in
It's a stun
pieces, and he's like cleaning it and testing little bits of it. And when you walk in and the first time you see him, he looks up, and again, maybe it's the smoke from the cheroot, but he's squinting.
Of course.
Clint Eastwood
Of
style.
course he is. Whoa.
I can hear the
I'm
voice.
gonna say,
howdy,
howdy,
stranger.
partner.
What you want, varmint?
I love
You're one of them explorers, right?
Oh, love it.
Yeah, we. That's why I came over to introduce myself. You got a spare one of those? I'm gonna ask him for a smoke, just to
Sure.
weigh him up a little.
He
bit.
doesn't offer you one.
No, I'll ask him if he's got a spare one.
Yes, and he said he does have a spare one, but he's not offering.
I
it.
do.
Yes. Oh yeah. So yeah. Any chance you could share with a fellow machinist or ex-machinist?
Machinist, are you?
I used to.
Tell
be.
you what. I'll give you one if you can tell me what this is.
Ooh. Do I know what it is?
Aye, it's a Regina Phalange.
What?
Say that.
I don't know what
well,
a
I
Regina
haven't,
phalange is.
I haven't seen one of those for a long time.
You could make a logic test.
Probably like a mechanic.
Potentially with a talent, if a talent might help.
I'm just gonna have a look now. I'm gonna have a look. I've
Don't
got
you have electro
specialist?
specialist?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll do it. Because logic's not my greatest.
I'm the tough one, but I'm still smart.
Logic and intelligence are two different things, Max.
Well, I know I'm not really a people person. That's why I like machines better than people.
Okay, come on.
He's opposite of me.
You can re-roll.
You get no
You
one.
can push
Hey,
it
push
up.
it. You didn't lose any hope.
Come on. Oh.
Okay.
Oh well. Damn.
So what do you say? Are you
I'm
trying to
gonna
bullshit
say-
him, or are you just gonna admit that you don't know?
It's a tube
Do you know
type
what?
phalange.
I am going to try and
Just bullshit.
sort of talk my way out of this one a little
Is
bit.
the left-handed
And this is
screw wrench.
something that I am very good at.
You need a left-handed screw wrench. That's what it is.
I haven't seen one of those for a long time, and the name just escapes me. It's been a while. I mean, I'm in the Explorers Guild now. I'm no longer in the machine. It's been a while, but I do know what it is, and it's just the name just slips my tongue at this moment in time.
The fucking wrench.
You're trying to bluff.
The wrench. He's
What?
just he's holding a total simple wrench, and Dave's making an absolute tit himself.
What? That's what I said.
Oh,
It's a
no,
No, I
left-handed
said he's
screw
got
wrench.
something taken apart in front of him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it
You
is, but I'm gonna say I do know what it is, but I just can't. The name's just escaped me at the minute. I'll
Well, you
give me,
can
give me
always
a minute
use your
to think.
you can use your
He-
actor skill to help with bluff.
Just say you've only seen
No,
the
it's
He's
I'm
not
not
asked me
gonna
to
wait
roll.
for
He's
you to
not asked me
make
to
another
roll anything yet. I've not asked me
Is he
to
gonna
roll
He-
anything
He-
yet.
That's the older
He
model. I've only
smiles,
seen
and he
the newer
says-
model.
He smiles and he says, "Son, I don't even know what this is. This is a bunch of junk I picked up. I'm trying to make something out of it. But here you go."
Well,
And he hands you a
I can
shirt.
definitely help. I can definitely try to help, but yeah, no, it's one of those things where I don't like to admit that I don't know things, if that makes sense. I sort of
Oh, I
try
get
and-
it.
Yeah,
It's not a bad place to be, but sometimes you do have to admit it.
absolutely. No, you're right, and I'll light the smoke, and
So-
I'm going to have a blast of
Yeah.
Sira and see if he wants some of that as well. Offer him a
Fucking drug.
bit of Sira.
Fucking drag out.
Off the
Oh,
nerves.
I appreciate it, but I'm too old for that stuff. And he takes off his hat and like wipes his forehead, and he's balding, and his hair is gray and wispy, and he puts his hat back on.
Well, it catches up with us all. But if you ever change your mind, I've got a bit spare.
Did you
Well,
just say it catches up to us all and you're
I
about
appreciate
22 or something?
Time catches up to us all. Does it not?
I mean, it does.
Is that not a fact?
However
It
old
does.
Edris is, yeah.
Aye, Idris is like 22, he's got a fresh face,
So-
now you've got peach fuzz on his face and that.
So yeah, I
think
mean,
I was
if you
22.
sit down with him and work with him and do some
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
I mean,
I'll
okay, because you said
I'll
you were
sit with
gonna,
the
I
guy.
can help. Okay, and yeah, you can
Absolutely.
add him as a contact if you want. Sam Boone.
Sam
he
Boone.
he is again one of the machinists. And you get the distinct feeling that he is trying to make a weapon out of it, which is
Ooh.
not something he should probably be doing.
Aye, definitely
I'll,
probably should,
um,
isn't it?
Yeah, but you bored sometimes.
I
you do
will
what you
whisper
shouldn't be
to
doing.
him. Well, I'll whisper to him that I think I know what you're trying to do with that, and
Bless you.
Thank you.
maybe not do it, quite out
Oh,
in the
well.
open. But I'm not going to say a word. Don't worry.
Oh well, son, you don't have to worry about that. I'll if I manage to get anything working, I'll keep it out of sight. Don't worry.
Can I ask why you're
Eh,
trying to design what I think you're trying to design? I'm not saying
I've
it
been
out
on a
loud.
lot of these ships, boy, and weird stuff happens. And not
Okay.
too keen on the idea of the only weapons being up in the ship's locker. I imagine
No,
y'all
it's
got some weapons
point.
on your own ship, but
I'm always
I,
begging.
I will
Don't
wink.
worry.
I will wink.
It'll
at
be
him and,
non-lethal. Mostly.
Mostly. Yeah. Situation depending.
Well, it depends on where I hit him.
Nice.
I think I'm the only
Well,
one
like I
walking
say.
around with a weapon out of us lot, aren't I?
I can't
I
remember.
don't know.
Hang on a
I'm
second,
carrying-
mate. I think I'm carrying something.
I got my big
if
hammer. I got my
if you're
big
counting
hammer on me.
ashes as a weapon, yeah.
Oh yes, I am.
Yeah. He's the deadliest weapon of them all.
I've,
All I got
I,
is the giant hammer.
I've got a pistol and a sword on me, mate. I'm packing, mate.
And I've got a sword as well.
You should not be packing on the candor. Those should be.
Locked
If I
away.
did
On the
not
shuttle.
have that conversation with you,
You know
the
what?
captain would have told you weapons need to be on your shuttle while you're on board ship,
Oh, okay.
or
Yeah,
or
well,
he needs
we'll
to lock
ass-
them in the weapons locker.
He's no more.
We'll assume that they're on the shuttle.
That's fine. You can assume that. He also would have said the same thing to Rico with your big hammer. He's like,
What? It's a giant
and
tool.
I know a lot of people. It is a giant tool, son, and I know that a lot of people would be okay with you walking around with a tool like that. But I'd rather not you accidentally swing that tool and bash open a hole in my hull. So that
Oh
will
no,
need to
Rico!
stay
No,
on-
no.
That
Yeah,
will
Rico
need to
is-
stay on your ship while you're on board this ship as well.
He looks a little deflated. It's like, all right, fine.
Can
If I give you all the call to gear up, you may gear up. But until that call has been issued,
Could I?
your
sneak-
weapons need to stay on your ship.
What about sneakily a wee brass knuckles, just in case? Wee sneaky.
Yeah, because they were
Brass knuckles
sort
fit
of
in your
legal,
pocket.
weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, brass knuckles fit in your pocket, so that's fine. And
Although I
again,
got rid of
like
mine.
a knife is fine, like a dagger, essentially. But a giant
I've got-
rocket hammer is not okay.
I've got a long sword.
Nor,
I've got
nor
a
is a
short
long
sword.
sword.
Short
or-
sword's too big a knife, man.
Not a short sword either.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I've got a wee knuckle duster, that'll do. Long sword. It's not discreet.
I do have an expandable shield. Can I keep hold of that, or does that stay on?
Calm down, Captain America.
no, you-
Like, if you can't have a sword, surely you can't have a shield.
You can keep the shield. It's
expandable as well,
expandable.
so
It's like it's basically like a bracer he wears on his wrist, and
and then
Yeah.
you do that, and it expands the shield.
I mean, you might something pop and hit you like shrapnel. I mean,
Alright, Captain America.
and it's a
Captain
defensive
America
item.
it.
I don't know
Yeah.
that it can be used as a weapon. So yeah, he's
Don't
he
think
doesn't
so,
have
but
an
it gives
issue
me
with
4
that.
bonus dice, so I'm keeping it.
on defense. Hell yeah!
Wow,
On
that's
defense, yeah.
That's a whole bunch of bonus dice.
oh,
But he has to take his action to defend with it.
Yeah, that's
It's
that's
not
my
just
thing. If I'm
Yeah.
in combat, that's my action.
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, so Sambu
What
is in my.
now that you brought it
talent.
up, what shape does your shield take when it expands? Circular?
So,
is
have you
it a
ever-
heater?
Penis.
Have you ever played God of War?
Not
the
for a
one
long
that
time.
So Kratos has got
Yeah.
one, and it like spirals out like a circular Sparta
okay,
shield,
cool.
that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Cool. All right, so yeah, you're able to set Sam Boone, Hisma,
Mhm.
as your contact,
Cool.
and you know a little
And-
bit more about him.
And the other person was Yahoo.
I don't know why I had to make him like he was, but that name, Sam.
His name's
Boone,
Sam Boone. He's
Sam
a
Boone.
cowboy with a name like that.
Sounds like
eh?
a Johnny. Sounds like a Johnny
Yeah.
Cash song.
Aye.
what surprised me is like
That
dude
when
from, like,
the night
that-
Sam Boone rode to town, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, that might be a nice name for another character.
A
if he
Johnny
played
Cash song,
something.
like.
or you just decide no, if Edris dies, he wants to play Sam Boone. That'd be
Take
hilarious.
Sam
That'd be
Boone,
cool.
aye.
There you
Why
go.
not?
Character's already
Okay,
cool.
so-
Oh, actually, retro. Well, can we retro that conversation quickly? Because I'm
Uh-huh.
going to say to Sam Boone, do you know something? We brought 3 other guys with us, and one of them is called Sam Boone. What a small world this is.
Coincidence, eh?
No, that's Sam
Small
Boone
There you
world.
go.
Jr. That's my
in,
grandson.
that's in
That's
the
his
law.
grandson.
No, that's it. That is
That's in the
canon.
lore.
There we
That's
go.
fine.
We've just
That's fine.
just canonised that one of these guys. He's called Sam Boone. That's his first name. Sam Boone is a 2-syllable first name, and then he's called something else. This one of these extra characters.
Oh,
that
the
we've
other
got
guy's name is Sam.
It's now
Boone.
Sam Boone,
Yeah.
like an actual cowboy for the Old West.
Okay, I gotcha.
Samuel,
it's
Samuel
Sam
Boone,
Boone.
but you can call me
Okay.
Sam.
All
right.
Samuel Boone.
So,
There you go.
and you're also gonna go speak to Yehud, or do you want to save that for another time?
We can save that for another time because Yehud's not really a contact. It's more I want to know.
You want to
He
learn
You
Yeah,
said
about him?
he's
sure.
like he runs the lower decks almost, doesn't he? Like a not
So,
a boss, but like he's the
yeah, I mean,
the
we
daddy
don't
of
have
that
to do a
deck.
full scene with him, but I'll tell you that over the 2 weeks, you're able to figure out fairly easily about some of these people that maybe you didn't speak to, but maybe we'll just say that you kind of engaged with here and
Including
there.
the little brother. I want to know about
Shala-
him too.
Yeah, so Shala Tyvar, for example, as a gardener, if you run into her a few times, maybe she's having an interaction with Carlin Grift in the sickbay or possibly the command lounge. She is cold and aloof. She is not interested in any of you. And in fact, seems to be barely keeping a grip on what I will say Edris, if he interacts with her, since he's kind of the most empathetic person. You feel like she's constantly in the grip of some kind of terror over something. And you're
okay.
guessing she's terrified of spaceflight. Because she is always working, she's always making sure the ventilation is happening, she's always making sure that the scrubbers are functioning, which is her job. But, like,
Obsessed.
she can only do that. She is obsessed over it, probably because she's terrified of spaceflight. Gerber Zort, cheerful, engaging. Is every time you run into Gerber, though, Yahud shows up.
Right,
And not
okay.
it mean or anything. Yahud is also very pleasant.
It's just never far behind, sort of.
Never far behind. And again, where Yahud is like Shaquille O'Neal sized, Gerber is probably, I don't know, 5'2".
Oh, great.
Oh,
Medium.
Kevin Hart. Kevin
Kevin
Hart.
Hart
Basically,
size,
Kevin Hart
aye.
with with Shaq.
Kevin Hart and Shaq.
Give me an insight test for Ozil with your engaging with Gerber the few times that you do.
Okay.
What was the gardener's name, Brian? That she's like really nervous.
Shala
and...
Tyvar.
Shala.
She's the ventilation specialist or ventilation steward.
There's no any. I don't think I'm gonna have any talent that's gonna help me on this.
Maybe not.
Oh yeah, Shala.
Nah. I'll be pushing that.
You can push it because
Shit.
again, you got
Oh,
2
shit.
weeks. Okay.
Oh dear. Nothing and love to hope.
So something's weird about her, but you can't quite place it. Him, I mean. Shala, on the other hand, like I said, pretty clear to any. She is terrified. Who
Is there
else?
any sorry, is there any way I could get on that work detail with that Shala, see if I could help her out at some point?
It's a gardener work
I
detail.
can't
Oh, you could.
But no, it's not, is it? Necessarily.
can do
I mean, it's-
everything, can't we?
She
It's
happens
just
to be a gardener.
you. I mean, just ventilation tech
Yeah.
repairs, and keep an eye on. Yeah, you could do that. And then anybody's interactions with Yehud, he is very large. He is very clearly in charge of the cargo bay, despite not having any higher rank or title. But he's also boisterous, loves life, loves to laugh, loves to work. And you find out very quickly that he is very protective over the cargo specialists and anybody that works on the cargo deck, particularly his little brother, of course, but over all of them. You get the sense that Yahud is the kind of person that would run into danger to protect people that he cares about or that he feels responsible for.
Nice.
Yeah.
And also not unintelligent. He's not an oaf, despite the fact that he's quite large. So.
Well, I'm big and I'm smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Actually, you know what? Rico actually wanted to challenge him to an arm wrestle contest one of these days.
It's funny you mentioned being smart. You're gonna fucking you're gonna take on Shaq in the arm wrestling. Fair, aye, right enough.
Okay,
yeah,
here we
I'm
go.
like,
So,
my dude is like 6'4", 6'5". He can look up to him, but he's still like, yeah, it's like what?
So if you at some point, maybe in mess, maybe down in the cargo bay when they're all just chilling out, sitting at one of the tables that they brought down, if you approach him and challenge him, he'll be like, well, make it worth my while, boy.
He puts down 200 rook right there.
Ooh, check you out.
200 ruck. That is a decent amount of ruck.
Yeah, I
tell you what.
Yeah.
And he clears the table and makes a space. He's like, "Let's go right now."
Wait, can this happen?
50 on the big
can
guy?
this happen when we're watching?
I want
Can
50.
this happen when we're watching?
Yeah, 50.
Sure.
I want 50.
50 rock.
I want. Well, tell you what. Just for shits and giggles, then Edris, I'll go with you 50-50. I'll go with you 50. I'll take Max for 50. I'll take Rico for 50. Wait, let me just double check. I've actually got any money left.
I disappear for a couple of minutes and come back in with a first aid kit.
Okay.
I'll stick 50 down, Dave. I'll stick 50 down.
Go on.
Okay.
And some other crew members start putting down money as well.
On which side, by the way?
Almost all of them are putting money on Yehud. Couple put money on Rico.
I was just wondering whether our associates are putting money on Rico.
They put money on Yehud.
I did. No, I did. I backed Rico.
No.
Oh, you put money on Rico.
I backed Rico. Yeah. I backed Rico.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm ready to
How much are you backing Rico for? 50?
50, and I've just put it down against Edris. So I've taken 50 off my character sheet.
You're backing.
I'll put it on the table.
I'm backing
Rico,
big guy,
or you're backing
big,
Yehud.
big guy. He's 7
for 50
tall, something. Yeah.
For 50. Okay.
I'm backing you, Max.
Wow, I don't have the faith of my crew. Wow.
You have faith
got
of
me.
One of your crew.
Got me.
Especially the one that you insult quite regularly. You're not having
Max, just remember, Max. NPCs can't push.
Oh yeah, I understand.
No, that's not true.
So not.
Not all NPCs can push.
But I think they're like more named.
Some can.
This guy probably can't push. Probably.
Okay, so
I'm back to anyways. You better win. You better win, Max.
You're gonna make a strength test.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any talents you think you should be able to add to it?
Force.
Oh yeah, okay, sure. So add force.
Force is a +2 to me.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Come on, Max. You've got this. I'm backing you, mate. That is 1-6.
One success.
You've got only 1-1. I think you should push it, mate.
You needed 3.
You can push it if you want to.
I think you should.
Oh,
come on,
you
come on,
you
come
don't know
on.
how many you need, do you?
Okay, 3. Not bad.
That's 3.
Yeah.
3, baby.
Now
you see, like, you know, it's like over the top movie. It's like.
Is it SD?
You've got this, Max. I'm backing you, mate.
Yep.
What is the way? I'm trying to figure out what the code is for me to roll base dice. Well,
do you want to just use somebody else?
I'll just roll regular. No, I'll just roll regular d6s, and I know that a 6 is a success.
Yeah.
Here we go.
One, 2 6s.
Okay, so you beat him.
Yeah. Done.
It's a struggle.
50, I put 50 on your sheet, Oliver, because I took 50 off mine.
I'll put 100 on mine. You mean?
Just add 50 to yours.
I've already taken 50 off, so I put 100 on.
Oh, did you already take it off?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. It's not like minutes or anything like that, but it's a tense 30 seconds at least.
Yeah.
And you are finally able to bring his knuckles down to the table, and he immediately stands up and, still holding your hand, bodily pulls you up out of your chair and into a great big bear hug.
Aww.
Just laughing.
Nice.
He's like, that hasn't happened in a long time, boy. What's your name?
Rico.
Rico. All right, Rico, my man. And he puts you down. It's like, you are welcome down here anytime.
Nice.
How much money did I get from everybody?
I was going to say, what are the odds?
You get a new
Rico's
friend.
gotta
You
get a
get
few
a
quid back.
you get a new mate, Rico. That's
No,
what you get.
You get the odds are just you get $200. It's not like we're doing.
Oh,
like,
yeah, 'cause you bet
everybody's like,
200,
oh,
yeah.
50
Oh, no,
again.
no.
Yeah,
I
you
forgot
bet 200, so
Two-
you get 200 that back and 200 more.
Nice.
And you know, some of the crew are kind of grumbling, but then Yahud looks at him. He's like, "Is a fair fight or fair whatever you want to call it? Fight's not the right word.
Well done,
Yeah.
Mark.
Fair contest.
Fair
Contest is
contest."
right.
Contest.
And
Yeah,
they all
contest.
immediately like just stop grumbling. The ones that bet on him.
Right. So there's not going to be any casualties, so I shall return
Right.
the first aid kit to the sick.
Give me the first aid get away.
Oh, I mean, Rico, your arm hurts.
Oh, yeah.
And as you
Good
guys
hurt.
are walking away, you see
Good hurt.
Yahud like shaking out his arm too. So
Yeah, I'm
know,
sitting there
but,
like,
yeah,
ooh,
they're
nice
good.
workout. Oh,
and
that's why you guys got me on the
Well done.
if that is the end of the kind of 2 weeks interlude bits, I think we shall.
One.
I think David's
One
got
more.
Oh,
one
go
more.
ahead. Yep.
I am wearing my algebraist skull cap
Okay.
during one of the sessions, off sessions, when I approach the master algebraist and proffer my CV formally and offer my
Oh.
services in any capacity that it is needed for the good of the ship, if as and when need arises.
So, she very seriously will take your document and read over it, and hand it back to you and say, "Well, you do indeed look qualified. We do have seconds, so I have no need of your services as yet, but." It is good to know that there is someone of your skill present should someone become wounded or incapacitated in some way. I will be happy to contact you if I need someone in a navigator's seat or an algebraist seat.
Very good.
I will, in the
Awesome.
meantime, give you access to the secondary bridge so that you can familiarize yourself with it, as long as you do not interfere with the seconds that are working from that bridge. We talked about that last time, remember,
Yes.
on the cargo deck with the observation suite.
Very good.
So you may feel free to head down there and use it either for the use of the ship or for your own purposes at need.
Okay, I shall familiarise myself with the sick bay and the secondary bridge in my off time. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So with that, I think before we head back to Lighthouse Barabus, which I'll go ahead and activate now,
It looks
We
nice. It was
will,
really cool.
Very cool.
we will take a break.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Excellent. See you in about 13 minutes, Twitch. Stay tuned. And we are back,
All
everyone.
right, folks, we are back. And we just doubled each other. Do you want to say it again?
Nah, you're okay, mate. We can speak at the same time.
All right. Fair enough. So, we are heading into Barabus Station. So, as you approach Barabus Station, again, you're out in the dark. You're at the edge of the system. And it is quite literally a lighthouse. If you happen to be at one of the tiny, super thick portholes, because again, not a lot of windows on these ships, you literally see a spot of light in the darkness, or would see it, or if you're on the hull, right, doing hull guard duty at the time. The captain informed all of you, I believe, if I recall correctly, that you will be staying at least 2 days
Mm-hmm.
at the Barabus Station to give people a chance to get off the ship, walk around, take care of some personal business if they have any. It's not a small station, but it's certainly not the largest one out there. It's certainly not as big as Ship City. But there are amenities, there are shops, there are places to stay even. There are shipping concerns, there are guild presences. Things happen at the lighthouse stations. As you are arriving, you get information. Well, I don't know. Are you guys like chilling out on the bridge while you arrive? Are you
on
Are you
duty?
involved?
Yeah, I'll be on duty. Yes, we're
No, we
alright.
can say you're not on duty
I'm
if
on
you want to
hull
be on the
guard.
bridge.
I'm on hull guard, just checking it out.
Okay.
I'll be knocking around on the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So
be on
anyone
the
on the bridge, when you arrive, will get the information, right? Basically through contact with the actual lighthouse, like the tower, that there are a few ships berthed. 2 are the GSV, which is a great ship, Yastapol from the faraway Zenobia arm, and the SSC, which is a cruiser, Kesselet, which is plying the route between Jamua and the Far Colonies. In addition, several in-system craft are docked, and there is a patrol sloop, which is why it's good that we talked about that stuff earlier, that is on patrol orbit around the station and the Slipstream tributary entry and exit points, known as the Garamander 4. And yeah, the captain calls in and makes certain for docking procedures. Now, the Ikander isn't actually going to dock. Essentially, what is going to happen is the tug will place it into a stable orbit matched with the lighthouse station. There will be a few like fueling and like air umbilicals that will be extended and attached, but the ship doesn't connect directly to the lighthouse station. Instead, once the ship is in stable matching orbit and the umbilicals are attached, then the ship's tug, the ship's boat, and the captain requests, although you can deny this request if you like, your shuttle will be used to shuttle people over to the station at various times.
Oh, we don't mind.
I'll see that would be a problem. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I think
So
we can offer that.
the captain does say that obviously that will only be when you all are deciding to go over. He's not going to make you do multiple runs unless you offer to.
I could do it. I mean, that's no problem if anybody want to wait on the ship or
I mean,
head
it's just
over.
a little bit of moving the ship back and forward. It's not a problem, is that?
Well,
why
again,
not?
it's a shift thing, right? So everybody's not going to be able to go over immediately. There has to be some crew remaining on the Ikander. So basically, he's just asking that whenever you all head over, if you would be willing to take, or when you come back, retrieve passengers. Okay. So
Yeah.
they will coordinate that with you to the best of their ability. Comms will work between the Ikander and the lighthouse station because of boosters, and because you're on a small station, not a giant asteroid. And so he basically requests that anytime obviously if you're here, they'll know if you're going over. But anytime you come back, if you would radio in first to see if there are any passengers willing to come back at the moment.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I mean, you can ferry a significant number of people if you're just going from the Ikander to the station.
Rico is the pilot,
Probably
right?
10 to 15 people.
Oh, yeah.
You pilot it, Rico, wouldn't you?
Actually, I believe Garita is.
Well, I co-pilot.
That's right, yeah.
But you co-pilot, yeah.
Rico's the secondary pilot.
So, as I said, it takes a couple of hours to get docked, or what they call docking, and then the captain calls for the first shift for shore leave. Are you going to go over?
Yeah, because they're wanting our ship.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of ships for moving people, so we'll be volunteering to go on the first shift to get some people over. We're keen.
Okay.
Do we have a game plan what we want to go over there and do, or
Discover
well,
Stretch your
I'm
legs.
stretch your legs, mate.
I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay on the shuttle and make sure nobody smuggles anything aboard it.
Oh, well, you can lock down the shuttle.
Apart from me, of course.
Apart from my side.
Well, you wouldn't be doing anything illegal, would you?
Absolutely not. No.
Of
like
course.
like Scale's on her finger behind my.
So,
no, I'm just concerned about people getting stuff onto our ship without our noticing. So, if our shuttle's being used, I will go with it, but I will stay with it to keep an eye on people.
Okay.
Make sure nothing comes aboard that shouldn't.
Or anything goes
Okay.
off that shouldn't. So
Mhm,
if someone has got
mhm.
light fingers, maybe.
That's fair.
True.
So,
Good shout, Osric. Good shout.
eventually, you guys get your first ferry on board, and you head over to Barabus Station.
Hey.
Cool.
I'll speak to Ozil and get him to try and suggest he tries to make sure that Edris doesn't kind of get sottled or drugged up. We don't want to lose him.
I'll try.
I'm going
Well,
with
that's
him.
good.
Rico, I'll try.
I'm going with him.
I mean, you're asking the wrong person for that, to be honest. You should ask Rico that.
I promise, Osric, I won't imbibe
Although
whilst
I
over
am
here.
a fellow academic like yourself, Osric, you know that I have a weakness for certain tweakness.
So, as you can see, there is the port in the corner here.
Yeah.
And our little pings are a little small because this is a
Mhm.
large map. I'm going to pull your tokens to the scene there.
Nice.
And
Well,
you guys are at the port.
Well, it's like we're disembarking. I kind of look at the others. It's like, should we maybe be asking if, like, with the signal that messed up our home, turn all the power out? Was there like maybe a wave or something that came through that might have other ships or other people might have just seen or discovered?
I mean, if there was, we're going to hear people
Sure.
talking about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you want to ask somebody, though,
You mean,
sure it's
you
not.
mean did that thing where we powered shut down, do you think, where we powered down Ship City, you think there might have been a pulse where that's, like, affected other things? If that happened, I'm sure we'll hear
Yeah.
about it.
Okay, I just didn't know if we were
I
gonna hear
doubt it, but if something like that
Well, it
happened,
has-
I'm
it
sure
has
we
been-
would think about it.
It has been like almost a month since that
Mhm.
happened, so you might not hear about it
Maybe.
unless you ask.
Well, that's what I was curious.
I say it won't do you any harm to ask someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at Osric as like you're you're more the principal person. It's just an idea that it just came off his head.
Well, let me know if you find out.
He stayed on the ship. He's not going anywhere.
I'm staying on the ship.
Okay,
Are you gonna have Ashes like staying on top of the ship?
I'll move you to your dock.
Aye,
Say that
Ashes
you
will be
guys are
staying with
docked
Osric,
there.
no doubt.
Oh, you know what I could do? Just for funsies.
Put the ship on.
Ah, look at that.
Do you
Make
want
it bigger
Garita
now
to
as well.
stay- Do you want Garita to stay with him just as
Can
in
I
case?
make it bigger? Should be able to. Cool. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's cool.
There you go.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so where we go first? Like check out like some of the shops or some of the bars,
What's-
I guess.
the circular Jesus.
The station.
The shape of the station. What's the amount of time it would take to sort of get around it? Is it walkable? Is it got transport on it, or?
I'm guessing
So,
at least an hour
Your
to walk around it.
tokens are a little bit larger than they should be. Basically, the from wall to wall, exterior wall, it's about 30 meters on the outer ring.
Okay.
So you mean from like that wall to that wall?
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
That should be about 30 meters.
Yep.
We're close. And so moving around the ring, somebody put a little targeting thing on there.
So you're talking a couple of 100 meters from side to side.
I was just trying to
It's
figure out how to turn it off.
100 foot
I
wide.
should be able to do it here. Let me just grab it.
Well, I would say probably maybe the best place to do is maybe see if we can find a place, a tea house or at least a pub or something to get a drink and talk to people.
You can certainly ask somebody at the port, and they could, tell you, give you some ideas. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but
Do it.
it's not like there's kiosks.
Yeah. I'm like,
But there
so
are workers. There's like a port authority and things like that.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you want to do? It'd be nice to get some.
I don't know. We'll get. Ask someone what sort of facilities are on the station. If there's a bar. Or
I had just reached for
casino or something.
I had just reached for the snack at that vital moment. No, we just walk and see what's here. We just start walking around and see what's here. We can take a tour. We can take a walk.
Okay, you can do that if you want.
So
Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Just so the map is clear. Anything that extends. Okay. Let's look at this. So just north of the Mira, if you see the wall here,
Yeah.
that's just, that little distance. That is essentially the exterior hull. Okay.
Okay.
Anything that extends further into the ring from that is a building or structure of some kind that is built inside. So the port obviously is a fairly large building. There's a building across from the port.
Yeah.
Obviously any of the freestandings, those are all buildings essentially.
So the black is the street and all the orange is buildings.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, if you wanted to head around, you certainly can. From what you can see here, directly across from the main port, it looks like those are probably warehouses or some kinds of business or mining concern fronts of some kind.
What do you think?
Which way are you going?
Maybe go the anti-clockwise then.
I'll follow.
If that's mining and stuff that way, we're maybe not so much interested in that because that's privately owned businesses and stuff. Probably best to go this way first.
Probably go down this. Yeah, probably. I would say it's better that way.
Okay.
Lead the way.
All right, so heading down this way, and the distances are not tiny. I mean, you guys just moved probably 50 meters, so you're taking a decent walk. Once you get into this section, there do appear to be some freestanding buildings on the inside. Some of them are single stories, some of them are multiple stories. These buildings appear to be kind of upper echelon shops of some kind, or also offices. And then you also notice these kind of rounded structures look to be like expensive homes.
Okay.
Or such. So maybe kind of a noble or high-end quarter, as it were.
What kind of things are you looking for in the higher-end shops, like jewelry and things like that?
Yeah, jewelry, heirloom
Spices,
technology that's been recovered. high-end technology. Yeah. Nice clothing, fine clothing.
Hey, do you think we should look for like a map of this system that we're going to go into, and maybe get a better idea of what we're dealing with?
We have one. We have a map.
Yeah, we've got the charted map.
Yeah, we've got a map.
We have access to that, don't we? As
Yeah,
players,
there's maps on the in the
Okay.
captain's quarters.
I
on the ship.
didn't know.
Yeah, the
Okay.
system you're going to is known. It is mapped. You have access to those maps for sure.
So where would we find a bar?
Follow our
Well,
noses.
if you want, I can just travel you around.
Yeah, just follow our noses, man.
Show us around, yeah, as if we're walking and taking in the
Once
sights.
you get to this part, you see that there is some kind of spine that heads inward. It does appear to have some buildings along the sides of it. There are some changes in levels here and there from stairways, but that heads into the central area, which is probably the location where the lighthouse would be. So main administrative aspects of the system, possibly also guild halls if they're present, and so forth. Then as you continue along through this area, it gets a little bit more dense. This is definitely more living areas, but here you're looking at the larger buildings are probably like tenements, so single family or single person studios and apartments, things like that.
It has got a residence. People actually live on this
Yeah,
station.
people live here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Some of the shops in this area would be closer to like bodegas,
Oliver wants
tea
to say something,
shops,
we can't.
things like that. Nothing really stands out to you as being that impressive or different from anything you would see in Ship City. Here is kind of more of the same, although this building here appears to be some kind of library as you move around. Then you move in here, again, more of the same, kind of chaotic, haphazard.
Oops.
Somebody's moving back.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
It's like
Kind of chaotic, haphazard tenements and whatnot. You would head up the stairs, and there's people on the streets. Obviously, I mean, it's the inner ring. The best way to describe this is it would be described as what people would call the Kuan style, or the a style of station that very closely mimics the stations that you've at least seen descriptions of the Third Horizon, where the ring itself is probably at least 5 stories tall. And so some of the buildings on the edges and in the center might even go up fairly high. It's a wide open space. In some areas, the foot traffic will be a lot more dense. In others, less so. There's not really enough space for vehicles, and a lot of the elevation changes because of these kind of nice looking staircases are would make vehicles very difficult. Although you do spot a kite flying around here and there, drones, and maybe a couple of birds overhead, but it's difficult to say.
Is there anyone that we've passed or seen that looks like they
Can I
are?
ask if
I
they
think you
were-
might have said actually port authority or peacekeepers,
Well, they would have been
maybe.
back in the port.
But there's no one like patrols on the streets or anything like that, or
Oh no,
that
no
we've-
patrols
that
on the
we've
streets.
noticed. Okay.
No patrols on the streets that you've noticed. So yeah, as you continue along, well, that you've noticed, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they don't have something like that. They could just be plainclothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get into this area, these kind of circular shelters are actually like domes, like garden domes. And
Oh, okay.
at this point, this large structure is very clearly an enclosed garden.
Ooh.
Which probably life support, food production, all
Yeah.
that stuff
Oh, I want to see
for the for the station.
One thing we
And
didn't
then some of the
mention
buildings along here.
before, Brian, in that
Yep.
whole first half of the session, in that 2 weeks of travelling, I didn't go and have a look at the garden. I would have done that.
Okay. We can talk about that
We
later.
totally forgot
Or
about
maybe
that.
next time.
We
Next
can
time
talk
you're on
about
the
that
ship.
next time, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So again, at this point, no, yeah, you're good. At this point, directly across from the main building of the Barabus Gardens, there's another spine that heads in. And this one, you can actually see what looks to be like a grand entrance to what you're guessing by this point is probably what people refer to as the Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just go ahead and make that visible. You haven't really seen any part of the station that you would say really belongs to any guild except for this part, which very clearly is
the Gardener's Guild.
gardeners, right? Which makes sense. Again, there's some more domes here, some more growth going on. The shops that you see are more like, you can go in and buy some fresh produce and things like that. But largely administrative gardens, administrative offices, and possibly living quarters for gardeners, and then the gardens themselves. Then you move into this area, and this really starts to foot traffic really starts to pick up. The first thing you notice fairly quickly is this large building here.
Ghouls Ladder.
Sounds like a pub name to me, that does.
That sounds like a pub.
That
sounds like a pub.
Yeah, that's a pub name
Well,
if I've
it's-
ever seen one, huh?
It appears to be like a tea house, tavern, possibly even with rooms, hotel-esque kind of thing. This building is at least 3 stories tall from what you can see as it climbs up the side of the interior of the ring. And beyond it, the foot traffic really kind of kicks up, and you find yourself in, at first, kind of a chaotic area, but then it kind of smooths out into a little bit more open and more clear. But this is definitely a souk.
This is the Swiss. This is
an
the Swiss
open
cheese.
air market. Well, it's the market. There are people
The
parking
bazaar.
stuff on the street. The bazaar, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It is where the commerce takes place.
Cool.
Looking
And
around this
then-
market. Oh, sorry.
Huh?
Go on.
No, go
No,
ahead.
I was just going to say, are there any stalls that might be selling like rare books or anything like that?
I mean, probably.
Only because my colleague back at the is it the Mirror? He's
Mhm.
he's missing out. He's missing out on this, so I would like.
What,
to
you want
buy
to give him?
a
You want
gift.
to get him a nice gift?
Yeah,
like,
I
there you
want
go,
to buy
yeah.
him a gift.
So-
yeah,
that's very thoughtful of you,
I mean, if-
Idris.
Yeah, I can guess
There you
what
go.
he's going to get me as well.
If you
Don't know
can
what you're talking
imagine,
about.
if you can imagine a Middle Eastern or Arabian souk, like it's chaotic. Most of the buildings here are shorter. It's with the circular buildings, they have the effect of almost like tents,
Like
but they're
tents,
buildings.
yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously they're not tents.
Not
and
quite
within each
shanties, but
one-
not quite. Yeah.
Right. Within each one, there are several different stalls, and there are stalls outside them as well, and along the side. It's very busy.
It's still a
space-
and there
It's
are
still a
people going
space
around,
station. They're not going to be tents. Aye, it's still a space station. They're still
Right,
buildings,
right.
aye.
Yeah. But yeah, you can find a small book without trouble. Do you want to pick him up something for
Yeah,
20 ruck,
I do.
30 ruck, something like that?
Get him a nice one, 30 ruck.
Well, I would
Fiction
say
or
Rico-
non-fiction?
Ooh.
Non-fiction. He likes
We'll
non-fiction.
go. I wanted to say fiction to try and expand his.
Oh well,
his mind with get his creative juices going.
I know him for liking learning. Maybe he will like some fiction.
I'll get
instead.
fiction, and if
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
a-
if you
that's a-
guys want to buy
that's
a
a good
non-fiction book as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Well, maybe that's a
I'll
shout
let
then.
you make up what the name of the book is.
There you go then.
Okay.
I'll pick him up a
I'll have a
non-fiction
think
book.
on
I'll
that.
pick him up something scientific. I'll pick him up something about fungus.
Okay.
Fungus and you.
Mushrooms.
The Fungus Among Us.
Aye.
That works.
There you go. I'll get
so
my
yeah,
wee book
you
as
guys-
well.
Yeah, I grab some food as we're going through, and then basically get like kebabs or something. I'm like, there you go, guys. You know, like get something to eat and while
A
you're
nice
going.
one.
Okay. Well,
Nice one.
if you grab from some street food for everybody, that'll be 30 ruck for 3 servings.
Excellent.
I spent 30
Nice.
on a wee book.
Nice.
That's
Yes.
a nice idea, Dave.
Looks after
And
me.
Looks after all of us.
then
He's a
you
good egg.
you've got these monstrous buildings here that have a very kind of thin stair that goes up between them. No real idea what they are. There's an entrance on the landing in between the
Bless
two
you.
stairs. There are entrances on either side on the bottom, but they're unmarked. And then you head into what looks to be a little bit more residential area again. Probably a tenement here, a tenement here. Another spine.
Bless you.
So sorry.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Fine.
Another
Hey, at some
spine
point-
heading in towards the center, and then you're back in the what is clearly the Port Authority with warehousing, hexacrates stacked, and you're back at the port.
Okay, well,
Did you guys ever want to check out the lantern, or like the lighthouse in the middle?
Is that an off guard? Is that a what would you call it? An off limits?
Off limits area?
It's the
No.
lighthouse.
no.
You
we
saw
can check
people
it out.
coming and going through each of the spines.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go and have a
This-
look.
This is the lighthouse. Let's go check out the lighthouse. That's the reason this thing is here. Let's go check it out. Good shout, Max.
We might find something that
So you're gonna fly
Yes.
through space.
No. I am holding on. I'm walking on solid ground, mate. Thank you very much. No, we are not. I am walking on solid ground. Let's get this clear. I did not just do a
No,
spacewalk.
I did it.
That was a lazy token. I did
thought it
not
was
do a
real.
spacewalk.
So as we talked about earlier, the entrance to the lighthouse is actually over here. It's very grand, and it appears to be open to the public. You can see over this collection of buildings here, which would be kind of to the north of the lighthouse, the very noticeable eye of the Navigators Guild. You asking something, Edris? Oh, you're talking.
Sorry, no, I was talking to my son. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
That's
fine.
why.
And
muted
then
myself.
over this building here, you see the sigil of the machinists.
Oh, Okay.
No, you haven't seen the explorer symbol anywhere.
Well, they probably have something small somewhere. It might be like on the docks or something, more likely.
could I go to the machinist building and ask someone in there if the explorers have a building on the station?
So, I wonder if Musco would have told you. You didn't ask, so she wouldn't have.
No.
You can go to the machinist building if you want.
Well, if
Uh,
I mean,
So
if-
you guys
if
have been
we
touring, and
interested to
obviously
find out.
you will. Yeah, obviously you will pass this information on to Osric later. But what's Osric doing? I mean, their circuit of the station. At this point, it's been at least an hour, if not, probably closer to 2 hours. Actually, pushing through foot traffic and kind of looking at things and trying to figure out what things are. I would say it would probably take at least 2 hours to make the loop. I mean, what is that loop?
We
can
stopped and did
see
book,
if we-
book shopping as well. It's going to take at least 2 hours.
Nope, I didn't want to do that. Well, yeah, and you did book shopping, so I don't know what the exact diameter of this place is, but it's quite large. And they had to go all the way around. So, what is Osric doing in those 2 hours? Just hanging out on the ship?
Yes, I've got a book of poems that I will read.
Are you inside the ship, or are you sitting outside of it? Because there's
I
like
will
a little kind of dock area.
I will sit in the entranceway and read my. Actually, no, I'll read my short stories. If somebody drops by looking for a trip back to the ship, I can engage them in conversation. I mean, how many
You
of
can
the
also-
crew did we bring over?
You probably would have brought over at least 10.
Okay, well, I'll make a note of which 10 they are, and given this is the first.
Yeah, you could have
trip back.
written it down. Sure.
Yep. Given this is the first trip, we know there aren't any crew already on the station.
Right.
I mean, are they here for a given period of time, and they have to report back by 1800 hours or something?
Yeah, so essentially we're going to do it in shifts where, you know, it's actually probably third shift right now, but first shift gets to go to the station, and then they'll go back, and then at first shift, second shift will go to the station, and so on. So they're basically rotating out for each shift.
Okay, and presumably a member of the crew has been assigned as in charge of the crew to make sure they all turn up to go back. Yes?
Well,
No?
no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not a pressed crew. This is these people's jobs. So
Okay, well, I will. Before we leave, then, I would have asked for instructions as to what do we do if people don't turn up by the time we come back. Leave them there for the next ship to pick them up.
who would you ask that question of?
I'll ask the first officer.
Okay, that's a good person to ask. So she, when you ask her that question, she kind of chuckles. And she says, "Oh well, they know better. If anyone doesn't show up, then
They're AWOL.
he gets to go looking for them, and he enjoys that."
Very good.
Oh, I'm sorry,
She gets to go
Mal,
looking.
our guard master.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if he's on shore leave, he's not particularly happy if we contact him to go find someone. But he will, and they won't be happy.
Thank you. So, okay, I shall sit in the entrance bay and read my book.
So, yeah, as far as like people heading back, it's not like a cruise ship where people are constantly coming and going. Like when a shift hits the lighthouse, they stay there for the whole shift. Like they find places to go, they find a place to relax. I mean, you have to imagine you would have seen probably a few parlors, as I said, tea houses, smaller, larger. Obviously, there's the Ghoul's Larder, where people are just going to go relax and just be able to be off of the Ikander, right?
Okay.
So there won't. It's not ferrying constantly,
Jolly
and in fact, they know that because even the other two boats, like they're docked and they're set, like they're docked and locked, because even the current pilot of that boat will be on shore leave with everyone else.
Okay, that's fine. I shall just sit and read
Now,
my book.
speaking though
Yes?
of visitors, you know, the docks are, since you said you're kind of in the waiting area, you're not on your ship. There is a docking tube isn't the right word, but extension, you know, and they are various distances away from the ring so that various size shuttles can dock and everybody can be in there.
Well,
but
as long as there's no other access into the shuttle
there's
other
not.
than this, good, fine. In that case,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining you're sitting outside of the main entrance to what would be your docking tunnel.
Yep.
and it is kind of, at least this area is kind of train terminal like. The seating is actually relatively comfortable because if there's one thing in the Great Dark, although it is kind of almost like 18th century technology, they also really like comfort. And there was a period of time called the Decadent Age. So it's not uncommon for places to be very, very comfortable. Padded seats, well taken care of. It's certainly not a New York subway terminal, let me put it that way. So you're very comfortable, but there are people walking around, and someone does actually head your way. She is a smallish woman, maybe 5'3", maybe 5'4". She's wearing a head wrap, but you can see wisps of kind of reddish hair coming out from underneath. It's not that she's unkempt, it's just that maybe she's been wearing the head wrap for a few hours today and some hair has come loose. And she approaches you and says, "I'm sorry to bother you. Are you from one of the great ships?"
No, I don't. Sorry. Are there any great ships in port at the moment?
There is one. The notes again. The Yastapol. There is also a cruiser, which a lot of people, when they say great ship, they also mean cruisers. They basically just mean something that's slipstream capable. So technically, that would also be the Ikander.
Technically, the answer is yes.
In which case, I will say, well, the Yastapol, but one of the cruisers, yes.
Well, you all wouldn't happen to be heading down the... I gotta go to my star chart. So many notes. You all wouldn't happen to be heading down the...
Going that way.
The Felcanter arm, would you? Towards Gahand? And you are.
The captain hasn't vouchsafed our route at the moment, so I'm just asked to keep an eye on this ship for him.
Oh, very good. Well, the thing of it is I'm looking for passage, and I know that the Yastapol is probably heading back to Zenobia, although they might still be in port for a few weeks. It is quite a long journey. And I've already checked with the crew of the Caslet, and they are heading back to the far colonies, which is definitely not where I want to go. I can pay.
Well, if you can give me your name and contact details, I will pass it to the captain, and if that is the route we're going to be travelling, then no doubt he'll be in touch.
Oh, of course. How impolite of me. My name is Yara.
I will
And
get
she
out my
pauses for
notebook
a
and
second.
write it down.
She pauses for a second, like she's trying to remember her last name.
Well, that's not good.
And she says, Sarens. Yara Sarens.
Sorry, was that a memory lapse or was she just making it up?
Make an insight check.
Bullshit meter alert going off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I can never remember which is which, but apparently when you remember something, you look up in one direction, and when you make something up, you look up in the other direction. I can't remember which one's left and which one's right, but one's one way and one's the other.
It's not quite a science, but one is up to the right, and you are reliving a memory.
Memory's up to the right, and imagination's up to the left, or vice versa. On the side of your brain.
I don't think I've got anything to help me with this. So, dumpty.
Oh, no one for me.
And I will push it.
We are in real time now, though, so you do have to.
That's no loss.
Smashed it.
Had a nice roll.
So, interestingly enough, although it seemed as if she might have been making up the name, with that pause, you are 100% certain, as much as you can be without being able to read minds, that she actually gave you her full name. Maybe she was considering whether or not to use her name, but
Okay. Fair enough. And I will ask for a contact location, so we can send somebody to. If the captain decides to that is the route he's going, he can send somebody to speak to her.
I do have a room currently in the ghoul. Sorry, the ghoul's larder. It's one of the larger tea houses, taverns. They have rooms to let. I've been staying there while trying to find someone again. I really need to get to Gahand.
And you're looking to go to Gahand. Okay. Note all that down and.
You pulled me to the system map again, Brian. One with Gahand and everything on it.
You go to the landing page.
I can't get to the landing page from here.
And then pop on. So in the upper left-hand corner, you don't see where it tells you you're currently at Lighthouse Station Barabus, and there's a little down arrow for you to hit.
There is a down arrow, but there's
to open
nothing.
up and see landing page.
Can't see a down arrow.
I've got a down arrow, but there's nothing
I
comes up.
can't,
So I've got no options.
I have it set to all players.
Yeah.
I know it was working for me.
Do you know what?
Yeah, I've gone back to the landing screen and I can see the lighthouse station.
I'm dumb. I had it covered with things. I had it covered.
Oh.
When you've got your character sheet and stuff like that.
Aye, I was covering it. I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
Made small. Yeah,
I'm dumb. Thank you.
I've done that.
You're not dumb. All right, so if you don't need anything else, I'll move ahead. I do check the tickers at near the ghoul.
Is there a ticker here?
Oh yes.
Sorry,
there's a ticker station right over there.
This is my first time out, so
I'm
getting
your first time off of Ship City?
Yes.
Oh well, I wish you good journeys, even if you're not able to help me.
Well, if I knew where we were going, then I could give you a yes or no, but I'm sorry, I don't.
I understand. And yeah, she points out to you where the ticker station is. It's right in the middle of the terminal. There are 3 or 4 different ticker stations there.
Okay.
He was trying to get to Gahand, wasn't she?
So she is. Yes. Well, yeah, that's what she said. Okay, so back to you guys. Edris, you're going to the machinist hall to try to find
just
out if there's...
Yeah, just to introduce myself as well, so to say that I'm on the lighthouse for a couple of days, and if anyone knows of a explorer's building or base or center of operations whilst on the station.
So give me an empathy test. And you're socializing, so anything that might help with that. I don't know that acting would really help.
Streetwise?
You're not bullshitting, are you?
Yeah, sure. Streetwise.
Streetwise,
sure.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need. You can accept that. So it takes you a bit. Maybe a half an hour or so. We'll come back to what Rico and Ozil are doing that time. And you talk to several machinists. They seem to catch on fairly quick. Whether you introduce yourself as having been a machinist or not, you know the right things to say. You know how to engage with people. So they loosen up a bit, and eventually you get one who's like, oh, I mean, no, they all work out of Ship City. There's no... I mean, occasionally I know the librarian offers them rooms, but for explorers coming through, but I think he used to be a librarian, or he used to be an explorer, but yeah.
Okay, interesting. No, that's thank you for that information. I will. I'll see about going to the library.
You going out, system, or are you coming back?
We're going out. It's my first time off Ship City, so just try to get the lay of the land, so to speak.
To be clear, it's not any of your characters' first time off of Ship City, because you would have had to have gone somewhere to do a delve. You've been an explorer for a bit. You've already done at least one or two delves before. You aren't just brand new explorers.
Oh, can I retro that to I've not been off Ship City for a while?
For a while, okay. Or maybe you've not been out of this system, because there are delves in Jamua, right? So
first time off the Jamua.
The Red Garden famously is in Jamua.
So I've not been in this direction then. Yeah.
All right.
Go with that.
Well, you know, take care on your jump. It's first jump is a doozy. Give you a tip.
We'll see.
Fast for at least 36 hours before you jump.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Works for me.
Do you get a lot of? Does it work? Do the majority of people do that, or does it usually end up quite messy?
Are you asking him specifically?
Yeah.
He's like, look, when you've been in a bunk with 3 other dudes and Slipstream hits, if you're off shift and you're all in your bunks, the smell and the cleaning afterwards, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, and he goes into explicit detail about how it's happened to him several times, where people just can't control their bowels when the Slipstream jump happens.
I'll definitely keep that information. Thank you very much. I'll share it with my colleagues as well.
Fuck me, that's good to know. Thanks for letting us know, Brian.
Yeah.
This is this guy. This isn't me. This is this guy.
So we're gonna shit ourselves.
Excellent. No, I appreciate that. I will bear that in mind. Thank you. Any other tips you've got, brother? I'll take them on board. But no, that's valuable information. Thank you very much.
Oh well, I mean, how much time have you got?
We've got time.
Oh, we're here for how long? We've got another day or two.
We've got time. We've got time.
So he starts off into another story. Give me an insight check.
Is your bullshit detector working?
That's the thing is working. He popped in
we'll find out.
Like old style TV.
Can we use anything?
And while you're rolling, I mean, you're hearing something about you got to use charcoal on your teeth. I'm telling you, it kills the taste. And then a few minutes later,
could I use that?
No.
No,
you're not interrogating the man. He's telling you stories.
Streetwise again, maybe. I'm just trying to find a social.
I'll give you streetwise.
I would say
I'll give you
streetwise or
I'll give you streetwise. And then again, you can hear his voice pop in.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, if you start losing your hair, it's normal. It'll grow back fast. And then, like, a couple of minutes later, he's like, oh, and look, it's going to turn red. And it's going to hurt. You just don't touch it for a few days. You'll be okay. And then it fades out again. And did you re-roll that?
I'm not. Well, I got a few ones, so it's gonna cost me a bit of hope to do this. But
we're on empathy, yeah. Okay, you succeed.
Oh, okay.
Hope lost 4.
I've got 2 left. It's fine. I've got 2 left. I can recover.
You're gonna break again just for talking to people.
No. I'm fine. I stocked up on cigarettes. I've got brandy, cigarettes. I've got me paints, and we've got downtime coming up. He's fine.
So what?
He's fine.
He'll chat at you for how much longer are you chatting to him about this stuff? Because he'll keep going.
Anything useful, but probably for the next, I don't know, I've only say like 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I'll go back out to the guys.
So you get the feeling that he really believes what he's saying, but also that can't all possibly be true.
Got you.
Like, It's just, it doesn't make sense.
We call it Jackanori. He's telling stories that just
This guy believes his own
blow
bullshit.
and yeah.
But he believes it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll
right,
go
so-
back out to the guys and
well, in the meantime, because now it's been like an hour.
Oh, yeah, of
'cause
course,
it took
yeah,
you like a
yeah.
half an hour to find them. What are you guys doing?
Actually, I think I might go over to because there's the Navigators Guild over there,
There is.
and yeah, and actually gonna go talk to them and seeing if as like before we were like I was gonna ask is that has there been any strange things that happened within the month
The last month.
about the time that the thing activated?
So the Navigators Guild, unlike the Machinist Guild, it's a guild hall. You just walk in and start randomly talking to people. The Navigators Guild has a front desk and a receptionist.
Oh yeah.
So you go in. I guess you introduce yourself.
Yep, it's like showed badge, explorers, and I have like probably a symbol of like before I was in Navigator. I'm like, yep.
You could also at this point, because it's been 2 weeks, you all could have, if you want, a Candor mission patch, right?
Oh yeah.
That you have on like your
Yeah.
coveralls,
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I do.
Definitely.
At this part of the temporary crew, yeah.
Okay, so the receptionist is like, "Oh, yes, we heard that there was an expedition going out from Ship City. Is there anything I can help you with, Explorer?"
Well, I was wondering, was there any information that at the time that the signal went out? What, like, I wouldn't say signal, but from that time period to now, has there anything strange than normal?
You pinpoint the time period,
Yeah.
but you don't bring up the signal. Okay,
Yeah.
anything strange? She says, "Well, we had a. I remember there was a bit of radio static, a significant burst. I believe it was marked down in the logs as a solar flare."
Okay. Has there anything out? Like, we're going to that system we're coming through. Has there any word from that system? Anything strange going on?
Well, we haven't had a ship come in from the Gahan system. You're the first ship going out to them in, well, about 2 months. So we've not heard anything specific.
Is there any like they're called builders, right? Or like these guys are called builders, right? The ancient ones or whatever they're called.
Yeah, everybody refers to them as
Yeah.
builders when they talk about them at all. Yeah.
Is there any like interesting like builder ruins in some of the planets on the system that has been noted?
Oh, well, I'm sure you would know more than I do, but we've found builder ruins in every system that we've colonized.
Okay. Well, thank you. He's like, if anything like particular, like any other logs, or if anybody brings in interesting, can you have it transmitted to the ship that we're currently docked for right now?
So she brings up a tablet and kind of taps around on it for a moment. She says, "Oh, and you're with the Ikander. Oh, Special Counsel. Well, yes, of course, sir. If anything of interest comes along, I'll pass on that information to your ship."
Okay, and any information that from like any any travels or anything that particular that from the system that we need to know. Like, he's trying to get all the information we can so we get enough stuff to go there.
What exactly are you looking for
Like
information
from
wise about
like
Gahan?
records, like certain records that people have been there, what their experiences has been in the system, what they've encountered.
Okay, sure. So, let me get to my notes. So she sits for a moment and thinks and taps around on her tablet. And she says, "Well, there have been reports of wrecker activity in the Gahan system, not unlike here. Although things have been relatively quiet in Jamua of late. Trying to think of interesting things, strange things. There was discussion. Well, I mean, this seems outlandish, but it could just be that they've not made it yet. But there was a cruiser named the Merabi, Mehrabi, if anybody wants to write down, a Slipstream cruiser, that has not been heard of since entering the Kerfetter stream en route to Habanatum. Habanatum. Could be that they're just delayed. It could be that they made a stop along the way. Some people still occasionally try to find new passage and new routes, so it could be that. There is the Great Vortex along the way, so
yeah,
that could be a problem. But from my contacts of the navigators in Gehand, there's been no distress signal sent or found.
Okay.
The ship just isn't where it's supposed to be.
Where was it heading?
What do you know? What to the
The Hammurabi base
Habanatum.
station. Or
Actually-
Habanatum, you said. Where's Habanatum?
No, Habanatum. That's actually one of the systems that you
is the
all
system?
received a signal from.
Is there a reason why they were
Oh,
heading
yeah,
out that
yeah,
way? Do
I
you
see
know?
Well, I mean, passage continues all throughout the
Okay.
systems. They were a cruiser, so they might have had courier or delivery jobs aboard. But I don't know how much experience you have with great ships, but oftentimes great ships and even cruisers are multitasking. They are, well, in your case, they're exploratory, but they might also be carrying passengers. They could also be carrying freight. Obviously, supplies need to be passed around the system. Just depends.
Okay.
The ships that go out don't have to. I mean, out of character, let me just say that it's not like the great ships have to submit full manifests. They don't have to talk about necessarily, like, it's not that strict. It's just ships are tracked where they go and when they arrive and when they don't make it.
That one's
So
not been seen.
Okay. It was just out of curiosity. It's just want to know. It's just if if something happened to them, or it's just if one of the ways we go through, if we encounter the ship, to see if they're still, this is out of character. If they're still around, that we can contact them, maybe get some information from them, because I'm sure.
Well, again, keep in mind that although there are factions, humans are humans, and humans are alone out here in the Great Dark. And so the expectation is that if your great ship comes upon another great ship in distress, you help them.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it's one of those. If we encountered it, it'd be like something that, like, hey, we know there's a ship out here, and if we find something.
Well, also, salvage is a thing, and sometimes if bad things happen,
Still want to salvage
and you
the
come
ship.
upon a derelict,
Yeah.
because it's still technology, it's still stuff that people need.
used. Aye, people want.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, he will thank her about the information, and he'll start heading out. And just something to know, he'll pass on to Osric and Ozil.
Osric's back at the ship. Edris and Ozil.
Sorry, I got distracted by some future notes in the campaign.
That's fine.
So, is Ozil doing anything during this period when they're talking to their guilds? Or are you just chilling?
just chilling while they talk to their guilds. I've got the garden. I want to speak to them.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could head down the arm and go speak to the gardeners if you wanted to on station. Or are you talking about the garden on the ship?
No, I'm talking about this, but I'll wait until these guys have finished doing their thing. We can stick together while we do things.
Okay. Well then, it's getting to be about that time. We should probably call it for today. Even though we did get a late start, it's still past where we would normally play to. So let's deal out some experience while we think about, and then you tell me what you're interested in doing and or looking into for the next session. Because again, you're going to be here for a couple of days at minimum.
I know Osric has that one with that lady about doing the getting passage.
Well,
Well,
I should
that's
just
one.
report to the captain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Right.
State my belief that be sensible not to pick up unexpected passages.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
we're
we can have
expected to
that
be taking on
conversation next
passengers.
time.
That's a next session conversation.
Well, I mean, it might be something that we get back to you and basically, calm toward if we can, calm toward the ship and let them know who we encountered.
Well, we're returning at the end of this shift, aren't we?
Yeah.
You can, or you can stay on station.
No, I think we're going to return at the end of a shift.
Otherwise, the guard master will come looking for you.
Not you. You guys have special dispensation. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
crew.
you just got to
I still think
You
we're
mean-
coming
you
back
mean
after
there
a shift,
isn't
though.
You mean there isn't duty while we're docked? While the ship?
No,
while
it's
the
shore
ship is
leave.
hanging off the
It's
station?
leave.
not the duties that you all necessarily would engage with, unless you want to continue duties in this sick bay. All
Well,
the
I'm
other
fully
duties are really
fully
kind of not necessary.
I'm fully expecting to have to deal with alcohol poisoning with certain members of the crew
Okay.
when I get back.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet.
We've not even gotten to the
Certain members of
drinking yet.
your crew or the crew in general.
I've got
Yes.
my brandy on me.
Yes.
We've not even started on the drinking yet.
But
Okay,
is
so-
it possible, Brian? Sorry,
What?
to send a signal
What?
to the main ship about the captain about the guest request.
Well, I mean,
No,
that
I'm
would
not.
be
I'm
Osric.
I'm not sending a signal. When we return to the ship, then I will go and
Talk to
speak
him in
privately
person.
with the captain
Ah,
about it.
Yeah. That's Osric's fault. He's the one who had the encounter.
Oh,
Might make
okay,
it
so-
fun. Let her aboard. It might make it a fun trip. You never
It
know.
might be it. You never know.
If you're looking for fun,
Also
have
scared
it
of women,
while you're
also
on
that's
shore,
my idea of
you
fun.
Idris. No fun on the ship. We're on duty.
Okay. Experience. Did you participate? Yes.
Mhm.
Did you roleplay your quirk? Those
Yes.
did.
I did.
Oh yeah, we had some Sierra. Oh, we had some smoking.
Yes.
No real superstition, Max.
Yeah, I know. I did.
Okay. So 2212. Did you explore an unknown location?
Yes.
Yeah.
Station.
Yeah.
Station.
3323.
No, I
The
didn't.
station.
Oh,
you
you
did.
didn't.
I'm
Oh.
not
didn't.
exploring the
Three,
station.
two, two,
no.
two.
You didn't get off.
3223.
Yeah.
Did you investigate a mystery? Not today.
No.
Did you instigate or partake in intrigue? No.
No, I don't think so.
Not yet.
Did David's
helping.
character? Okay.
Not yet. I just took a note. Okay, I lied to her, saying I didn't know where we were going. But
You
that's
did
not-
lie,
that's
yeah.
another
You're
issue.
learning, Osric.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. You're learning.
Yeah.
He learned it from the master.
No difficult challenge. Everybody,
Oh yes, I had
I'll
to keep a
say,
straight face.
everybody interacting with their affiliated faction will say, and setting up kind of new contacts. So that means that Dave and Oliver, you get 4. David and Max, you get 3 each.
Okay.
Let's be up to 7.
8.
Crew points. No challenges. No delve. No great ship voyage today because you were already here.
Mhm.
No builder glyph.
we just went through the last 2 weeks, if you remember. We were traveling here.
Yeah, but you got the point for that last week.
Yeah, I got it last week.
No promised favors, no artifact turn-ins, no aid from the birds, so no crew points today.
No crew
Which
points.
is fine. That'll happen.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Now-
Ashley is probably going to have to help Edris next time to get all his.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
I'm
not used to it now.
feel-
Fine.
I feel like Edris's addiction is actually soul delve. It's not Sira. It's soul.
It's actually addicted to the soul
Like,
delve
it's
that he
like
gets from the
cold
birds. Yeah, it just damages the hope to get his fix.
Yeah. Okay, so
Ashes looks after me.
what is there anything that you think I would need to prepare myself for
wanna
that
see
you
the-
want to do next session?
So the garden on both the ship and the station for me.
Yeah, okay, that's easy enough.
I mean,
The
the big
book.
tavern would be kind of nice.
The books.
It's
Yeah.
going to be called Shadows. Symbol of Shadows. So
And-
if you write it down, I don't have to.
And I'll let you think of what the book is that I got. I got a non-fiction book, something to do with plants or mushrooms. I'll let you decide what it is, Brian. You can decide what that book is as well.
Well, he said Fungus Among Us. I thought that was.
Fungus Among Us, there you
I'm
go.
not actually going to name it that.
So it's a comedy.
No, I got
Yeah,
you something
I mean,
serious.
it's like the different.
He got you silly stuff.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
non-fiction comedy.
Well, it's more like it's like the how-to books is like Idiot's Guide to doing something, but not an Idiot's Guide, but something that way. It's like simple, like picture book of different funguses and stuff. I mean, it might be.
Ozil and Osric don't read Idiot's Guide, Rico. That's you and Idris.
Picture book.
I've got him a really smart.
Children's book about mushrooms.
I'll get Rico
Okay,
a colouring
pop-up
book.
book.
I'll get you a colouring book like Idris has got,
And-
alright?
Anything else that
I got
you
him.
think that you're probably going to want
Sci-fi.
to look into or do next session, keeping in mind you're going to be on the station for at least 2 days?
Library for me because of the machinist.
Alright, library.
I think
Well, that's only-
sorry, Explorer in the library. And I
That's
might want to
only
mention that to
2
Osric as well.
shifts, isn't it? Unless this lot are going to decide to stay on.
No, we're
Well,
coming
we
back.
need Rico back to drive the
No,
ship,
no,
the
just Garita.
shuttle back.
No,
to the
Garita's
ship.
available.
Rita, I'm probably going.
All
I'll
right,
check out
all
the
right.
tavern. That's what I want to do.
Okay, well, if you're not back here by the end of the ship, Garita's taking the shuttle back to the ship with the crew. All right.
I might, for next time, Brian, I might return back to the ship and let Osric go for a wander around. So, like, swap position. Like, I could give him the book and
Oh,
then
no,
mention the library.
I'm very happy on the ship.
Yeah, but there's
Staying
the
back on the
library's
ship.
A. There's a library, and B. They've got the Explorer there. Explorer. Person
Well,
there
we
as well. I just
can-
wondered
we
if you
can
wanted
figure
to
that
kill
out
two
as we go.
birds.
I'm fine.
He's
honestly,
not letting
I'm
go of
fine.
that ship, like.
He's not, is he?
No, it's not that. If you remember, I've just spent the last 2 weeks getting to grips with that new computer we've got.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still
Oh.
hooked.
That's right.
I
he's
see.
can't tear
I
himself
see.
away
Yeah,
from
he
the
still
new
wants to play
computer.
with it.
Yeah,
It's like a new toy. He's like,
that's
"Woo!"
what it is. That's what
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I've got a couple of things to go off of, and then, we'll see if anything else happens. So, yeah, that is...
Sorry,
go
the
ahead.
only thing that I'd be interested in is hooking up the data I can get from the ship into into my computer, so I can double check things, I can cross-reference and so on. So I will be transferring what data I can into the new computer's data stores.
Okay,
Okay.
so one thing I discovered, that's going to be easy to do. One thing I discovered is that as I was looking at stuff, I maybe was a little too generous giving you 10 info cubes.
Fine,
Apparently-
cut it down to 1. Cut it down to 1.
No. Because info cubes can store a ridiculous
Like
amount of
petabytes
data.
sort of thing.
That's what I was
Oh, yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
That probably was a big, insane amount of
But-
memory.
If you get some builder stuff, it might be that much data
Amounts of
when
data.
you research it fully. So I'm still going to say that any research that you end up doing on a particular artifact or whatnot, all that data is essentially for one artifact is going to take up a single cube.
Yeah.
Damn, nice.
But you should still have at least one cube available to you that is able to maintain the whole database that's on the Ikander, which you'll find, honestly, is not that much. I mean, they have...
Question, Brian.
Yeah.
On the data cubes, sorry to interrupt you, is the data, once it's on there, is it erasable and reusable, or is it once it's on, that data cube has got its data on and that's it?
So, I have decided, because they're so expensive, that they are writable only.
Oh.
So once you put stuff on it, that's it.
It is essentially a crystal.
Mm-hmm. Well, it
and
makes sense because it's resource management then. You decide what goes onto it. Yeah.
The crystal gets engraved with all of the data, and then that data is readable in anything you can hook the info cube into. But once it's set, it's set.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But presumably you can then there will be a folder referencing the data, and you can set the different elements to either current or deleted.
Well, there is no deleted. Like,
no.
Once...
If you have a menu,
okay,
then for each bit of the data store, that menu, so you've got a 3-block section. The first block says it's that section is readable. The second
so
block,
you deleted the data, but the space is still taken, sort of thing.
The space is still taken. It's just not referenceable normally. It's noted as not being current or being deleted. So you've got the data
I think I see what
area
you're saying.
and the menu area. So it's all written on. It's none of it's deleted. It's just that some of it is noted as not being current.
Yeah, and you can continue to add data to an info cube up to a point, right? So a single info cube is going to be enough for you to have all the material from the Ikander, personal notes, personal research to a point. A single info cube can cover that. Like I said, I've decided that if you end up doing deep research on an artifact that you find, which is what your person in the Machinist Guild wants you to do, that's going to fill up an info cube. So that's because with, analyses and spectrography and all of that fun stuff, right? But just for normal everyday use, even with a database like from the Ikander, an info cube is essentially like you'll be fine for a long time.
Okay. Well, bear in mind that I'm going to be picking Rico's brains and probably Edris as well, because we've got the all the details of the Ikander on the machine, and I recall the captain saying that this was the first trip. I can't see a representative of the builders on board. So we are just trying out all the equipment for the first real time.
Well, this is the first trip since the refit.
Exactly.
Of the Ikander. I mean, the Ikander's been around for a very long time. As we said, I think last session, it's old. Like it is
100 years.
Yeah, like almost first. Yeah, it was like whenever the guys got here.
Well, I mean, it's essentially from the Long Traverse. Like this ship has been. It's possible that the Ikander might have been used like in Hulltown as something else for a while. Because remember, the Rikad, or Razad rather, is also a cruiser that was being used as a base by the Black Toad. Now, whether or not the Razad is like Slipstream capable, that's another question. But the Ikander could have been similar. It could have been being used as housing or something else by somebody else, but they never took the ship fully apart, so they were able to refit it and prepare it.
Agreed. But this is the first trip since the refit.
Correct.
And there isn't a builder's representative on board just to keep an eye on things. So I'm expecting things to go...
Oh, you mean... I'm sorry. You mean a machinist representative?
Yes.
Yeah, there are machinists on board.
There are machinists on board, but...
There's quite a few.
But you have a first engineer, a second engineer, and all the machinists.
Agreed. But were any of them involved in the refit?
Okay, that's a good question. I will say
I can ask Sam
you
next week.
You could ask Sam next week. Yeah, you could ask Sam.
He
Boone.
might be from the. He might have
That's it.
lived
That's a
out
good
there.
reason.
This is my
It's a
shack,
good reason
and I
to
lived there the
interact
whole
with Sam
time.
Boone.
Okay, fine. But I'm concerned. This is new. Okay, it's an old ship, but there's new stuff, and when
Sure.
we get out into the slipstream and it starts shaking, things may start
It started falling off.
misbehaving.
That's why you got
When
me
it
around.
starts shaking and you all start shitting yourselves, yeah.
I'm gonna get some
I'm
brandy
not worried
down
about it, I'm
Osric's
used to
neck at some point. So have some of this, mates. Just let's
Yeah,
just
have you
bit of
noticed
a,
that Osric is a bit? He's a bit of a worrier.
Little bit,
on
little
edge.
bit.
Just a little.
Smoke
Okay,
some more
guys, well,
cigarettes.
That's it. I think we can pick
Okay.
back up next time.
Yep.
And do
Yeah.
some
Oh,
more
yeah.
discussion and more preparation, maybe, and maybe look into some things on the station. So,
Oh yeah.
oh, I guess
no,
I'll
I don't
move
want to
us.
be I don't want to be distracted.
I'll move us ahead one shift. So it will. We'll say next time it will be noon, and you guys will decide if you're going back with first shift to the Ecander.
Excellent.
So.
Thank you very much, Brian, for another awesome session. Thanks,
Yeah, of
boys.
course.
Thanks, boys, for playing with me.
Always,
Great
bud.
fun as always. See some of you tomorrow. Viewers, thank you very much for watching. This was
Thursday.
session 16. Also tomorrow. We don't stop. This was session 16 or chapter
No.
2, session 3. We'll be back in 2 weeks for session 17, chapter 2, session 4. We are RxOliver and the gang, and we love you. Good night.
Boy.
Bye.